Is everything okay? I don't know. Can you hear me? Alexis is here. We'll be able to see the chat over there, but
Oh, nice.
a little bit.
Vale. How many? Oh, gonna be the oh, it's delayed?
Yeah, delay. Yeah.
Okay. Are we live?
Yes.
Perfect. Can I mix a drink here?
Yeah. People don't drink, but we are.
Yeah, people shouldn't drink, but I'll have a drink.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola.
Nice. Healthy.
Zero.
That's so cool. All right, guys, we are live now, and this is okay.
How are you?
Fine with you.
Good.
After the gym, right?
Yeah, just straight.
Just worked out.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Successful. I came yesterday and I failed a lift that I shouldn't fail 3 times in a row, and I was really upset. So I came back today and I did it 4 times in a row. Like, yeah, to get revenge on the lift. Yeah, and it felt good.
Did you record it?
Yeah, I posted on Instagram.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Yeah. See, they're talking.
Hey guys.
Really? So, okay, guys, this is PeraCast. Funny story. Pera is peer in Portuguese, and we call our podcast this way because in Portuguese, pera can also mean weight.
Oh.
So the idea behind the name is that we wanted to talk to different kinds of people from different political perspectives. So before we have any judgment, so we wait until we have like any judgment. So we try to talk to different people.
That's really cool. That's a cool
Yeah, but in
concept.
English it doesn't make sense because pure cat.
Yeah, that's still.
And the fruit is also great. Yeah.
Yeah, I love pears. Yeah.
And yeah, guys. So just a little introduction. We are a podcast and we talk about all sorts of stuff. And this is supposed to be a nice chat. This is not a formal conversation, but we of course will learn about your background and everything. And we have a lot of things that you can do to help us financially, of course. You can see on the screen, we have some links that you can donate some money to us, please. And also, if you have, what? Okay, you have a new phone. Hossein. Yeah, hi, Hossein.
Bianca says super Greek. Hi, Bianca.
From here.
From here.
Yeah. And then also, if you have Amazon Prime, you can subscribe to us for free, and you give us money that way. So it's very nice.
Wow.
Twitch is, I think, from Amazon. So
Yeah, they own them, right?
yeah. And so this is Alexis. Say your second name, please.
I'm Alexis Karakatsanis.
Nice.
Yeah.
Lisa.
Hi, Lisa. Hi.
Yeah. And you study health science.
I study sports and health science. That's a full name of the degree. Yeah.
And what's the difference between that and, I don't know.
I like other medical or health sciences. Yeah, so we focus more on it's a multidisciplinary approach. So we focus on the science in terms of physiology, biology, chemistry, a little bit in the beginning, psychology, data collection, and how it applies in sports, first of all, so performance, and how it applies on health. So biomechanically as well. So it's a bit different in terms that our focus is not always disease, and we don't learn too much in depth in disease, but we learn a lot about metabolic disease and how kind of sports fit into society and health, and vice versa.
Ooh,
Yeah.
That's very interesting. But you plan to try to take a medicine course as well?
Yes, I finished my exam yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah,
Was
so
it okay?
it was really hard. I wouldn't say it was okay, no, but it's the kind of exam that most people I meet who have done it take it 3 times, like 2, 3, 4 times. Actually, there's a guy who lives in this accommodation who did it 5 times, and only on the 5th time he realized what way you're supposed to do it, and then that's how he. All right. Yeah.
Nice.
Edward. Hi, Edward.
Yeah, he's a friend of mine.
Nice.
He studied in the same course as I did. And yeah, I think I told you already that I have the disease that you kind of study, I think, metabolic disease.
Yes.
And how do you think exercise can help healing that?
So exercise, first of all, metabolic disease is a kind of an umbrella term for a variety of symptoms. Sorry, does he study at Trinity? No, I study in the Technological University of Dublin. It's a new university. Sorry, just
No, okay, yeah, don't worry.
so exercise can induce, let's say, physical activity in general can induce a lot of effects, physiological, that can help you in that disease. One of the bigger examples of those effects is the fact that exercise can make your blood can balance your blood glucose levels very well. So it will mobilize glucose much more efficiently, because actually it will upregulate an enzyme called GLUT4 and other enzymes that will eventually take glucose out of the blood and into the cells and vice versa. So your glucose levels will be more balanced and more efficient due to exercise as a response. This is because exercise requires glucose, so we need glucose to move our body. It's the main source of fuel, let's say. So if you induce more exercise, it will require a more efficient system of utilizing glucose. So that's one of the bigger effects, for example, of exercise. Yeah.
And there's a famous saying that says that diet is more important than exercise. Do you agree with that or not?
For this disease in specific?
No, for in general. Like if you want, if you want to, I don't know.
No, I would never classify one more important than the other, because by themselves they're obsolete, and so either of them are equally obsolete by themselves. So there's no point in saying that, because then people might get the wrong idea. And technically, sure, there could be, I don't know, but there could be a ratio where it's more important than the other, but there's no point in trying to discuss this. Just try to optimize both. That's the best thing to do.
Yeah. And yeah, that guy there, he said, "Where's the subtitle?" Sorry, it's because
you don't speak English.
No. Say something in Portuguese.
Obrigado, parabéns.
Yeah. Como vocês?
Tudo bem?
Yeah, and we were talking the other day about that documentary, Icarus.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about a little bit about how your course and your formation fits into politics. You said you were going to talk a little bit about
Yeah, sure. So, for those who don't know, Icarus is a Netflix documentary, which it's kind of split into two parts, as you remember. The first part is a cyclist who takes steroids to see how his performance is going to increase in a race he does. And then it kind of develops into this crazy story about how Russia was undergoing state funding doping programs, and they were doping all their athletes, in every sport, literally every sport, Olympic sport. And this was directed directly from the top. So Putin even had a say in this kind of program. And it shows you how, first of all, how corrupted sports is, organized sports, because anything that gets touched by humans will get corrupted. And secondly, it shows you how important sports is to society for a government to go that in depth to succeed in sports. So they wouldn't care otherwise, but it's because sport can unite a nation very easily. So just think if Brazil wins the World Cup, the whole country goes crazy, right? There's a huge party. And that's just from people kicking a ball in the grass, So it shows you the power of sports in society and why governments will go in such lengths to ensure success. Yeah. And in my degree, I suppose we do a bit of biosocial studies, so the effects of health and exercise on society. It's our main focus, but on the other hand, we also do some biochemistry, and some people decide to go to steroid research later on, so anti-doping, maybe even creating new steroids. Some people, I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah. And what do you think? Because I was thinking the other day, what if everyone used steroids instead of having normal people and people who use steroids?
Yeah. Well, you mean
in sports?
In sports, the problem is that not everyone wants to take steroids because they do have a negative effect on your health. A lot of bodybuilders die in the ages of in the late 50s. A lot of them do, and that's because steroids have a real negative effect on your health. I don't want to take steroids, for example. It's not worth it. I want to do this without the aid of hormones that my body is producing and take them exogenously. Firstly, because it will harm my health in doing so, and I'm doing sports for health mainly, so why would I sacrifice my health for sports? And secondly, I want to see what my natural capabilities are. So that's the problem. Not everyone wants to do steroids, and if not everyone wants to do steroids, then we have to remove the people who do want to sacrifice their health for better performance. So yeah, that's.
And what about Messi and Ronaldo? Hossein is watching.
Hussein, yeah, like we're talking with Hussein. In my opinion, is that most elite level athletes take steroids. That includes Ronaldo. I mean, his performance exceeds any like natural capabilities, and the fact that we know how corrupted sport is, and the fact that there's been several documentaries, not just Icarus, there's been several documentaries that show like the depths of sports corruption in a lot of sports, including football, makes me assume that okay, if all the top guys are taking it, then Ronaldo, who is literally one of the top guys in the world, will also be taking steroids. It's hard for me to refuse that. Of course, I'm not absolute because I have no evidence, but it's also hard to assume that he's not taking. Sorry, Hussein. Yeah. He works harder than everyone else, I know. He does. He probably does. A lot of people think that when you accuse someone of steroid use, that you're taking away from their hard work. I'm not. Like, he probably does work harder than anyone else, but that doesn't mean that he's not using this little, extra stuff to push him even further. I mean, the man is in his mid-30s. And his performance is still exceeding people in their 20s. I mean,
it's not like if I took steroids, that would be Ronaldo. It's like you have to work hard.
No,
right?
and if you took steroids, you probably wouldn't even be to the level that the top guys who are natural would be. You wouldn't even be on that level. It's not like that. But if you are on that level, you do want like this slight advantage. And it's not a slight advantage. They actually work quite well. Yeah. Still convinced he's not taking. That's cool. I mean, maybe he's not, but I think he is. Yeah, I'm gonna say gringo.
Gringo. Parabéns.
Yes.
All right.
Who's that?
Ooh, Hianspi.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. And Rafaela asked if you are from Ireland. No, he's from Greece.
I'm from Greece. I'm Greek. Well, from Luxembourg.
Oh,
because that's where actually I say I'm from Luxembourg because that's where I came from. I used to live there and I came here, but I'm Greek. I was born in Greece and I have a Greek passport. Yeah.
But did you live there for a long time?
Yeah, like now it's been close to 17 years. So I was basically raised there. I moved when I was 4.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Almost 18 years actually now. Yeah.
And Rafaela.
Who is it?
It's this one.
Oh.
Rafaela. It's because
It's your friend.
Yeah, she's the other host of the podcast. She's not here because
Okay.
yeah,
Nice.
super Greek.
Yes, actually, I'm wearing a Greek. I thought it was funny to wear a Greek because today is 200 years of Greek independence. So I thought it would be funny to wear. Like, I don't care too much about this stuff, but it's funny to wear like a Greek.
Didn't know the history.
I used to because we had to learn for school. Now I know the basics, of course. I know about what happened, but
Homer.
no, that's very. I mean, yeah, that's ancient Greece, but there's like a lot of history. The most of the history of Greece would be with the Ottomans. So the Turkish. That's what most of the history would be.
There was a funny story that when I met Alexis, one of the first things he asked me was, "Do you know any Greek authors?" And I said Homer, Plato, Aristotle.
Yeah,
and he was like, "No, contemporary one."
Yeah.
And I was like,
Because they're ancient.
Yeah.
But I guess like that's how you like how Greek would take it, I suppose. Yeah.
And do you have the game bingo here in Europe?
Yeah, sure.
Because in our podcast we have a bingo because every podcast we usually talk about the same stuff. So when we talk about it, we say bingo.
Oh, okay.
And veganism is one of those topics. And if you want to talk about it, I'm very curious about how it reflects, how a vegan diet reflects in sports.
Okay. Do you want to talk about it now?
If you want to talk.
I'm down. Yeah, I actually did a presentation very recently about veganism in sport. We have a module called exercise physiology. So basically, we look at different physiological approaches to exercise. Anything from the cellular level of muscles to measuring jumping distance and how a workout program affects that. So it's like quite a broad range. And I talked about how veganism affects sports performance. So the presentation was not around morals because that's not my specialty, and I don't think I have the authority to like say this is right or wrong. But in terms of performance, we can look at some objective facts and we can determine whether it's good or not. Most people think it's impossible to be a vegan athlete. Truth is, you can be like on the top level, but you have to make a lot of adjustments and you have to be really smart about it, and you have to definitely get the help of a nutritionist. There's a lot of issues. So one of the main ones is protein.
Yeah.
As a vegan, you don't get enough protein because the protein requirements for an athlete are over double than that for a normal person. So as a normal person, you know, someone who's not like competing for the highest level or competing to succeed, you need a lot of protein. You need about 2 grams per kilogram body weight. So I weigh almost 90 kilos, so we 180 grams of protein, right? So that's really hard to get from a vegan diet. First of all, you definitely have to use supplements. The second part is that even that protein requirements, you have to account for a bit more, because what we call bioavailability of protein, it's how much protein you absorb from your diet. So let's say I have 20 grams of protein in a meal. Doesn't mean I will absorb 20 grams. Depending on the source, I might absorb 15, or the effect might actually be like as if I absorbed 25. So some foods have over 100% absorbance. It's not really, you don't absorb more, but the effect it has on the body it's as if you consume more protein. Eggs and whey protein are the highest. And then, you know, you get to the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh kind of bioavailability like index, and you see that they're all animal products. You get tofu around 7th or 8th, and then you get beans and nuts much later, like 12 and stuff. So that's something you have to like take into account, that your protein sources are going to be weak. And another problem is that for the protein you get in a vegan diet, you also get a lot of calories. So yes, beans have a lot of protein, but for the amount of protein you're getting also a lot of calories. So you have to adjust for that as well. So you have to be careful with how many carbohydrates you eat by themselves and how many fats you consume. So, yeah, there's like a lot of things you have to play around with, but it is possible. Once you count all this in, you can do it. And some people don't like to take supplements, then I would say it's really hard. Like you kind of have to accept. There's nothing wrong with supplements. If they're like tested and clean supplements, there's no negative health effects. But for example, calcium, you have to like supplement calcium. I supplement calcium because I don't drink milk or cheese because it messes my stomach. Calcium, and then some new research says collagen, which is found in a lot of like ligaments and animal products, which helps on your joint health. For sports, it's very important, as you can imagine. So yeah, I wouldn't disregard veganism for sports. I would just be very careful about it. And actually, the area like literature is very limited right now, so we're gonna have to wait a few more years to see. But there was interesting research from one of my lecturers as well in college. And they did a GAA player, GAA, Gaelic football. It's a sport they play in Ireland. And he saw no performance decrements after changing to a vegan diet with a specialized nutritionist. So yeah, if you have the resources, you can do it. That's a verdict, basically. In short, yeah. And there's like other specifics in terms of supplements and other food things that you have to take into account.
Yeah, I have a wait. How are your training habits like, Alexis? Okay.
I have a coach who gives me 4 days per week to train.
All right.
Hey, I have a coach who gives me four trainings per week, and I try to do 2 supplemental workouts, which are like no weights, just body weight, kind of taking care of my knees and my shoulders and my hips. So you have to do kind of that kind of work for weightlifting. But now I've been very busy, so I split the 4 days even to 2 days sometimes. So I go maybe every day, but I will do like shorter workouts. Yeah.
Nice. I'll stealthily go to the kitchen and have a snack. Healthy one, mind you.
Enjoy your snack.
Yeah. What do you think about the relationship with food? Because we hear a lot about like educating yourself regarding food and not like be very limited and strict with diets. What do you think about that?
Yeah, people do have an unhealthy relationship. In the West, I don't know too much about in the Eastern Hemisphere, but like in the West, there's a lot of unhealthy relationship with food in the sense that people think you either have to be a health freak or like eat junk. which is not the case. You can eat healthy food and still it will taste good. You can make healthy and tasty meals, and there's nothing wrong with consuming certain foods that you like to indulge in, like burgers or pizza, as long as you manage your whole diet, So the thing with food is people ask me, is this healthy? Should I eat this? And I'm saying there's no food is inherently healthy or unhealthy. And that might sound weird, like someone say McDonald's is unhealthy. If you want to be technical, no, it's not unhealthy. Food cannot be healthy or unhealthy. A diet is healthy or unhealthy. So I give this example. Michael Phelps, training for the Olympics in 2012, I think, or something like this. 14, I can't remember. He was consuming 8,000 calories. And to get 8,000 calories a day, you cannot get that with healthy food. You cannot eat chicken and broccoli and get 8,000 calories. He was eating a lot of pizza, a lot of McDonald's, because they're actually sponsored by McDonald's athletes, and that's one of the reasons. He was eating a lot of fries and a lot of processed meats and stuff like that, because he had to. He had to get the calories in. Is anyone going to argue that Michael Phelps is an unhealthy individual? Obviously not. He's an Olympic level swimmer, and of course his priority was getting vegetables in, fruit in, all the vitamins, all the protein, and then all the leftover calories were supplemented by junk, right? So if my calorie needs are 3,000 calories per day, that might seem unhealthy to you, which is 2,000 calories per day, but yours will be unhealthy to someone who needs to consume 4,000 calories, because you're going to be losing weight and you're going to feel worse. So really, food is not unhealthy or healthy, and people need to understand that, because people need to relax and understand that they can enjoy food as long as they don't overdo it, and as long as they be sensible about it. Of course, don't have pizza every night, Pizza Hut and burgers every night. Of course, okay, but you can still eat them on a couple of times a week. If you exercise or walk at least every day, or eat the rest of the diet is on point. So, not even on point, but
Yeah. And let me see. I had a question now, but I forgot.
Oh, sorry.
No, don't worry. Okay, yeah. What do you have any tips for someone who can't get into a gym routine, because at least I struggle with that a lot, because sometimes I get 2 weeks in a row to the gym, but then I lose the track of it.
Well, my advice would be okay, is there anything you do that you do very that you will do throughout the weeks and you have been doing it for a while? Is there anything like that you would say? No, anything in your life.
Eating.
Okay, something not necessary. A hobby. Have you stuck with a hobby that you're very passionate about, or anything?
Yeah, writing maybe.
Okay, and why do you do writing?
Because I like it.
Right. So you like it, so that's why you do it. Okay. If you do exercise, so I guess what I was going at is you have to have a why. So that's what I was getting at. So you're never gonna have a healthy relationship with the gym if you think it's a routine. If you think it's a chore,
Yeah.
And the thing is, there's exercise for everyone that everyone would like, but people don't experiment enough with exercise. They think that exercise can only be in the form of either running or weights, for example. That is not true. Some people who hate sports discover wall climbing, and they become extremely healthy because they get obsessed with wall climbing, and then they stick to that. People who discover swimming, Olympic weightlifting, or volleyball or anything. So there's exercise for anyone, or walking even, So you have to have a why. Your why has to be strong. It can't be because I want to look good for the girls. That's not a strong why. It's because then you can always look better, and then you're never going to be satisfied. Eventually you're going to get frustrated and you're going to drop off. It has to be something that you do because I know that when I'm 80 years old, I want to be able to run around with my grandchildren, and I know that working out now will have that effect later. And I know that if I get into a routine, the longer I will live, and the longer I can enjoy my kids and my grandkids, and the longer I can run with them and go places and travel the world. So you have to understand that exercise is actually something that will make you enjoy life more. It can't be something, I'm this belly fat, and that's okay. If you want to lose fat, but also it can't be superficial, is what I'm saying. And this is not to judge people who want to go to the gym purely because they want to look good, but for me, that's not sustainable.
Yeah.
And your superficial kind of wants should be short-term goals. I want to lose 4 kilos by the summer to look good. Fine, everybody wants to look good, but you're not gonna want to lose more kilos and then expect to work out for the next 10 years. Our aim as like health scientists, I guess, is to promote activity at any stage of life, and that's the goal. So don't work out because you want to lose weight at this moment, or you want to get bigger biceps and stuff. Work out because you understand that it will make you live longer. It's a form of meditation as well, very important. So you go to the gym, you clear your mind physiologically as well. Hormones get released into your brain that make you calm down and they make you think clearer. And I guess the advice is just find the exercise you like. Just experiment. Try like 100 things. You will find. I promise you will find something that you like. And once you do, you're gonna get like this obsession with it. And then because you're gonna be obsessed, you're gonna fix your diet as well because you're gonna want to get better at it. And then you're gonna fix your mindset. You're gonna fix your sleeping schedule. So it's gonna be like this domino effect. So try to find something that you will like because exercise does not mean running or lifting weights. Exercise is any bodily movement that's structured.
Even like walking, if you like to walk around the city.
Yeah, some people love hiking. And some people who like never touch a gym and they look like good and they eat a lot and they still look good is because maybe they walk like 2 hours a day and they don't even realize, like that's the thing. It's like they're just walking. It's not even like working out for them. This is just walking. So.
Yeah, one other question. What piece of advice would you give to avoid pandemics effects like sitting all day long in front of the PC?
Yeah, I'd say like the general guidelines. I can't remember if it's like WHO or something. Yeah, it's quite warm in here, isn't it? Is your
Yeah, I'll lower the temperature.
Yeah. The general advice is try to not sit longer than an hour. So every hour, get up and do some stretching and some walking, even if that means going to the kitchen, having a glass of water, and standing for 10 minutes. But basically, 15 minutes of movement every hour, and I think you're going to save yourself a lot of trouble in terms of back pain and rounded posture and a lot of things. So every hour, 15 minutes of moving. And that can be literally changing your position of sitting. Sometimes you can sit on your knees. I do that. I sit on my knees on my bed. You're just stretching your hips like that, Or I just watch 10 minutes of my lectures standing. And if you can afford it, standing desks are really good. Yeah, standing desks are really good if you can afford it. But yeah, try to move every hour for like 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. It doesn't need to be anything crazy. Go to the kitchen, pour yourself some water, have a look at the view, and then go back to your sitting. And I know it's hard sometimes because we have lectures and stuff, but you can always take your laptop with you. So
Yeah. Rafaela is talking. She's even going to create a training routine after this talk.
Oh yeah,
Motivated.
Good. I hope we can motivate some people.
Yeah, and Anna is talking about about that laziness people have before starting exercise.
Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, it does come down to like you have to push through. Like anything will be hard in the beginning.
Yeah.
I can't just say, the magic secret to exercise is like you have to get up and do it. At the end of the day, you have to motivate yourself. You don't even have to motivate yourself. You have to understand that you have to push through. It's about discipline maybe, and it's easier to push through if you understand that it can be something very fun. Yeah, exercise doesn't need to be suffering. I enjoy when I go work out. Some workouts are really hard. I don't want to do them, but often I feel bliss. I'm happy. I like to do this. It's like, it's like playing video games.
Yeah.
I like it equally as much. That's the thing. I've developed this mentality where because I found weightlifting for me, Olympic weightlifting, I love it, and it's like this challenge for me. It's like playing video games. I don't feel like I'm wasting time.
That's nice. Yeah. I always have to go. When I go to the gym, I'm always like, I have to be healthy. I don't have this enjoyment.
Yeah. But then also it comes with it as well. So maybe like the first few months, it's gonna be like really like, okay, I know I need to do this, and then eventually once it becomes a routine, it's like sleeping. Like you do it every day, but you don't even think about it. It's kind of this thing that goes by, and your workouts can be like that as well. And there's also, we need to deconstruct myths like you need to be in the gym for 2 hours. No, you can be in the gym for 30 minutes. 30 minutes. And this other thing I hear, I don't have time to work out. I don't buy it. In a second. I know doctors, and I don't know the person they're on Instagram, full-time doctors who compete in the Olympics. Like you can't tell me that you don't have time when other people are literally competing in the Olympics and they're working as doctors. 30 minutes, 3 times a week, everybody has it. Like no one is that busy. I think I don't think so. I don't think anyone doesn't have that time. So yeah, we don't need to think that working out is 2 hours, 2 hours, 5, 6, 7 times a week. So it's not.
Yeah. Is it a myth that doing cardio early in the morning while fasting will help you lose weight faster?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's a huge myth. This is also like, can I curse a little bit or?
No, of course.
Yeah, this is like bullshit, like ideologies. They're like, as if your body understands that it's like 8 o'clock in the morning and it's not like 10 o'clock in the morning. Like, sure, we have an internal clock, but these things are so like, what's that word? Not abstract. Like, they're not based on anything. This is like somebody said, go in the morning. Before
Yeah, because it makes sense because you didn't eat anything before, so.
Well, you didn't eat anything. What do you mean? Okay, you have to understand how your body burns fat. Okay, so there's only one way to burn fat. One. No one, like, I know this sounds very absolutist, but there's one way to burn fat, and that is consuming less calories than you're expending.
Ooh, okay.
There's many ways to get to that point, but as long as your calorie expenditure is lower than your calorie intake, or your calorie expenditure higher than your calorie intake, you will lose fat. You lose body mass. That can be sacrificing some muscle, but you have to eat protein to preserve the muscle. But don't do that. Don't like waste your time on working out like fasting, because all the research shows that there's no benefit to losing weight, and that makes both like scientific sense in terms of literature and physiological sense. Yes, cardio will make you burn more calories, so you will be, your calorie expenditure will be higher. So if you're eating less than you're expending, you will lose fat. So that's why people think that that works. But the fact that it's in the morning does nothing. What if I wake up at 12 in the noon? Or what if some people have night shifts and they wake up at like 7 p.m. Can they do like morning cardio? So yeah, and honestly, working out fasted is not a great idea because your body will need energy, and if you don't have like good fuel in your system, you might sacrifice some protein for energy. So your body hates using protein for energy because protein is so important for like everything, not just muscles, like everything from movement to like bone health and skin health. So it tries not to do that. But if you don't have like fuel in terms of carbohydrates, it might start burning protein. So actually, it probably wouldn't be the best idea to work out fasting. I'd say I would actually talk against it. Yeah, fasting and doing cardio. Yeah, like again, cardio will make you burn more calories. It will, but that's not the fasting by itself does not necessarily, as far as we know, do anything special. A lot of people try to sell it that way, but it's
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, Rafa was saying, so put some music and start dancing and then go back to study. That's your
yeah. That's great.
Actually, when I lost like 14 kilos, I lost it because I was dancing, just dancing.
Really?
I put it on YouTube.
Really?
Yeah, and I was dancing for like 15 minutes every day.
That's amazing. Like that's what I'm talking about. Like you find some movement that you enjoy doing it, and do it, and get in the habit of doing it.
And what do you think? Because there's this famous argument that people use against science, which is the egg problem. Do you know? Because eating eggs becomes either a villain or a hero from now and then. Like I think it was 5 years ago, there was some research that said that egg was caused cancer or something like that, and then it was healthy again.
Yeah.
And what do you think?
There's a lot of politics in science, and like you can notice a big trend of like scientists backing up some businesses, and vice versa, in terms of financial support or like political support. And I think that was like just an interplay of like power between like the agricultural industry and science. So if they want to take a hit on the agricultural industry, they might be saying milk and eggs are bad for you, and when they want to support it, they might say they're good for you. If you look though at the hard science of it, so like in terms of like the biochemical properties of an egg, there's no real association between eggs and cancer. Okay, there's a lot of associations with being in a large calorie surplus, so eating a lot of calories, and cancer. And that makes sense. And a lot of people who will consume like a lot of fats, like eggs and milk and meat, will end up getting like overweight and obese, and then they will develop cancer. So it's important to understand causation does not mean correlation. It's easy to be in a caloric surplus by eating meat and milk and eggs and stuff like that. So people can misunderstand that into saying, okay, these products by themselves can lead to cancer. As far as I know, it might be very complicated. There's things I don't understand, but that's how I understand this. This idea, because the same thing has been told about red meat, and the same thing has been told about milk, and even carbohydrates at some point. So yeah, science is not real science is the truth of the world, but the way humans develop science can be very misleading. Because people want to publish their own papers and they want to get money and they want to sell their name, so people will change data just to suit their. And once you understand how the whole process of literature works, so you do an experiment that gets approved by an ethics committee, and then you run the experiment, and then the experiment results, and then the thesis will get through a panel. We'll discuss whether it was a well-run test, and then will be released. Sorry, but you see that in all those stages, there's people involved and groups of people involved, and of course they will have their own ideas of what they want to publish or not. If you publish something that doesn't make sense for them to publish, they will just say, sorry, it's not a strong piece of paper, and we're not going to publish it. Mm-hmm. So science can be quite misleading. So you can have to use your logic and I guess find people who really have the best interest in heart of sharing the real science. It's hard to do, but yeah.
What's the? Oh, that's the huge trend in Brazil.
Yeah, they're running with the cardio.
Yeah, I don't know why. Because you see, as you said, I don't know if this is politics as well. Because it's so huge. There's a whole new movement of people making fasts. And,
I think it's just some influencers who sell it. The secret to losing weight is fast cardio.
Yeah.
Because they get more views. And because it works, but for the wrong reasons. And when people believe and start giving up credits to what they work.
Yeah. You can eat if you want.
Slowly.
The protein bar.
Yeah. Protein bars.
Yeah.
I like these.
Bars. By the way, do you think those things that are very industrialized give cancer? I know that it's a hard question.
Yeah, from what I know, there's been no association between supplements and cancer. I mean, companies can be quite transparent in what they put. I mean, okay, as I said, corruption could be rampant, but there are auditing associations that will test the quality of the products, and you have to check for certain ingredients, and they seem pretty clean, for the most part. There's no reason for them to put any cancerogenic products in there. Why would they make their company be associated with cancer? It doesn't make sense, So no, I think it's safe to eat these. Yeah, but of course, your whole diet should be around real food, and then supplements are supplements. So you supplement your diet.
Yeah, because I hear a lot about if you eat, for example, oven pizza, is it very worse than the real pizza?
What?
In that matter, because I know that they put a lot of sodium in the food.
It's hard to just do an answer like this.
Yeah.
It's it depends on the product itself. It could be frozen. It could be fresh pizza that I made and then I froze it. That's frozen pizza. But it could also be frozen pizza that they sell for 2 cents in the Chinese ghettos or something, and it's probably quite not good for you, because it's going to be a lot of fats, a lot of sugars, very low in protein and micronutrients. So yeah, it's kind of I hate giving these generic answers, yes or no. You have to look at case to case situations. In general, in Europe, as far as I know, the food industry is quite good, quite developed. I'm not afraid of most products as long as your overall diet is good.
Yeah, what I try to do usually is eat healthy during the week and then the weekends.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
I go crazy.
I go to tables and we usually have snacks and then take out and stuff, but it doesn't work.
And let me see.
She had sweet potato crisps that were high fiber. Yeah, they were so nice. Honestly, insane. I would prefer them over some other crisps. They were so nice.
Over every food.
Yes, it's gonna be my only diet. Just sweet potato crisps.
I met a guy who only ate cookies every meal.
What?
And he was not fat because he had the body type.
But how can you?
Elliot's body type.
Yeah, but like you can't feel healthy doing that. Like it's impossible to be healthy and do that if you only eat cookies. You have no vitamins, no minerals, nothing.
Just study.
Yeah. Yeah, you say how important is rest when you're trying to build muscle mass? Very important. Like one of the biggest things you can do for your body is sleep. Try to sleep 7 to 9 hours a night, and your body will like transform even without doing any exercise. Really, like sleep is so important, and understanding when your body's too tired to work out and kind of taking a day off or doing a very light workout, and then sleep. Sleep is so important. Try to increase the quality of your sleep as well. So avoid caffeine after like I don't know. I say 3 or 2, but really it can be anything that works for you. Yeah.
Yeah, I read a book about the science of sleeping, and the guy in the book said that you like because there are some people who say that okay, I can sleep for 5 hours a day and I'm okay with that. But in that book, the guy says that no, like if you study the science behind it, it doesn't make sense. Like you will lose something with that. Like I think the minimum is 7. Like otherwise you will develop some diseases maybe.
Yeah, your body can learn to live in 5 hours of sleep. It doesn't mean you're sacrificing a lot of your health. Like just because you feel good like at the moment doesn't mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably the cookie guy. Like maybe if you ask me, he's gonna be like, "Oh no, I'm fine," but like he's probably gonna have so many issues like later on in life.
Yeah. Why did you choose Ireland as your studying destination?
Very simply, I wanted to study in English. I didn't want to go to England. I didn't really want to go to Netherlands because I wanted to leave home and be like a bit further away. So, and I visited Ireland once to do a test, an exam, and I loved it. I love Dublin, so I was like, and I'm sad that you can't experience. I've said this before, that you can't experience Dublin like in an open situation because it's. I feel like you like culture and it's quite cultural. Like there's a lot of events that happen around history and literature and movies and stuff like that I think you would like.
Yeah, so sad. And do you plan to return to Dublin?
For sure, I applied for a few like I've applied for a PhD program, 2 master's programs, and med school in 4 schools. So hopefully one of those work out. If they don't next year, I will apply again like the year after.
Oh, nice. Yeah. But do you like the academic career?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity here, from my experience, and like.
But do you enjoy studying like academically rather than like being in the market in the industry?
Yeah, I want to be a student for a bit more. Like I want to study. I want to do the university experience for a bit more. Like I don't want to rush go into the market because I know that my whole life is going to be that later on. Like I'll have at least 30 years of like doing that. So I want to take some. I want to meet lecturers. I want to like do studies. I want to get educated a lot before I get into the market. Yeah. Oh, the chat disappeared.
Oh no, why?
Wait, move the mouse or?
No, it's on the TV. Wait.
Oh.
And what do you think of? Yeah, because I don't know, I didn't enjoy the academic life, because I think it's too much pressure, and especially here in Europe. Like you have even the saying, "Publish or perish." Yeah, yeah, because professors have to be teaching, guiding students, and also publishing articles, and it doesn't have can't be just a normal article. It has to be revolutionary in some sense. So yeah, I think it's too much pressure.
But I think it depends on your field as well. Very much. Like
I think in your field it's even worse than that.
Yeah, I wouldn't do research for too long. As in a lab. I wouldn't do lab work for too long. I wanna lecture at some point in my life, but that's why I wanna be a doctor. I wanna do medicine because I know that's like immediately practical work. But to get there, you have to study a lot beforehand, and that's fine. Like, that's what I'm saying. I want to like study a lot and then go to do something that is guaranteed practical work, like for years. If you become a doctor, you're never gonna struggle to find a job. That's the thing. So, but before that, I do want to enjoy being a student. Not so much like having the pressure of releasing articles, because that seems like quite like a tiring life to be honest. And like not very like unless you're like extremely passionate about that, I don't think it's very like gratifying, you know.
Yeah.
But
And you're also a coach, right?
yeah, I coach the university team for Olympic weightlifting, but I also have my coaching business, which I do like any sort of like fitness or sports, or people come to me with like bodybuilding or weightlifting or powerlifting, or they just want to lose weight or whatever. So I do kind of mix of everything.
Even different sports, like if someone plays basketball,
Yeah, I do. I will do the strength and conditioning. So not like the basketball training itself, but you know, for every sport you have to do like at least two times a week some strength training or some strength and conditioning we call it, because you work with strength and conditioning. And I offer that for like for athletes.
That's nice.
So, Rafael assim pergunta sobre o desvio de caráter dele. Rafa, what does it mean?
No, it's because we were talking about because in this podcast we also talk a lot about politics and a lot of oh yeah, sorry, yeah, because we talk a lot about politics, and I misunderstood her question, but we also talk a lot about guilty pleasures. Do you have a guilty pleasure, Alexis?
You know it. It's in there.
No, besides that, anime. We can go to that.
Okay.
Do you think it's a guilty pleasure?
I don't like the term guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to feel guilty about things I like. As long as I'm not sacrificing like my studies and my health, why would I be guilty about it? You know, like I will never watch anime instead of a lecture, or like skip the gym to watch anime.
I would.
Yeah, sure, but that's priorities. You know, like I compete in the sport and I get scholarships for it, so I have to perform. You know, so I will never sacrifice it. So afterwards, I go watch anime, and I will sacrifice some sleep for it, but I don't feel guilty. Like, but some guilty pleasures, I guess, like I do sleep in sometimes. I love sleep, and like I wake up after 11 way too often. At this point in life, I should be way more like aware of my sleep. I should be able to sleep earlier and wake up. I'm working on that. I'm trying to like. I know it will be fixed in the summer because I'm getting an internship where we have to wake up at 7 and sleep by 10. So I don't have the choice to like mess it up. But yeah, I guess sleep would be one of my guilty pleasures. But in general, I don't like the term because I think you should live your life like the way that you know that's best for you, and if you know that something's good for you, you shouldn't be guilty about it.
Yeah. But even in that book that I mentioned earlier, I read that there are also people who work better at night. So maybe even this wouldn't be a guilty pleasure because maybe you work at. I was talking to Bianca the other day because she prefers to study at night, for example. And this is not a like wrong. It's just different, but it's also like professionally it's not the best thing because normally companies has the business hours, the working hours.
Definitely, I enjoy working at night way more, but it doesn't like college doesn't work around me.
Yeah.
And that's why it doesn't work. That's why it's bad. Like not because by itself waking up late there's nothing wrong with that. If you're productive later on. But I know that because college starts at 9, I can't just work like till 6 in the morning and then go to sleep. I have to be up at 9, before 9.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's like, if you're like doing a night shift, like if you have, or if you're a doctor and you have the choice, or a nurse, you have the choice to work at night. That's pretty, or like, it's pretty good. You can sleep during the day. I think I've heard a lot of introverts prefer that. Like they don't like going out in the day, so they sleep like during the day and then they wake up later on in the day to get their things done at night.
But do you? Yeah. Okay. Any tips to stop food cravings?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of like practical tips. For example, drink a lot of carbonated water. It helps expand the bubbles, like fill up space in your stomach. Eat a lot of vegetables and fruit because they contain a lot of fiber, and they make you feel fuller. And just try to eat smaller meals throughout the day instead of less large meals. So don't try to only eat like 3 large meals. Try to eat like a breakfast, a snack, lunch, snack, maybe like pre-dinner snack, and then dinner, and maybe something before bed. But like sensibly, like it can be a fruit and a glass of juice. something like that. Or it can be a bowl of rice and some like salad slices, something, or a sandwich, something like that, you know. So try to keep your stomach full like throughout the day instead of having big meals. Because think about this: what if I eat at 9, get really full, by 11 I'm starting to digest, but my next meal is at 1, and then I'm gonna be hungry, you know, till 1, and then I'm gonna be tempted to like, I'm gonna get really hungry, I'm gonna get crave and eat like snacks. But if I eat at 9 and at 11 I have like a little sandwich, then I'm not gonna be hungry till 1. By 1 I might get hungry, and then I have my lunch. So try to eat smaller meals throughout the day than, you know, 2 or 3 large meals. Drink a lot of carbonated water, a lot of fresh vegetables and fruits, also like sweet potatoes, stuff like that. Um, and try to avoid like, as long as you don't do like a lot of physical activity, you shouldn't consume a lot of like white carbohydrates. Okay, you shouldn't. It's just that you digest them really fast, and then they disappear from your stomach. Whereas brown and like, you know, dark like whole grain stuff will stay in your stomach for longer. So I'm trying to do that as well.
And what happens if you don't like fruit? Because I hate fruit. Like even banana, we have a lot of bananas there.
You hate fruit? I what?
My I don't know. I'm a kid, you know. Yeah.
All fruit, like
Yeah, I can't like.
apples, kiwis,
I almost vomit.
no,
Yes, when
pineapple, peaches.
okay, pineapple. If it's sweet, I can eat it.
Man, I don't.
I can only like drink juices or smoothies, and that's what I do.
Oh, that's a good point. Smoothies are amazing for
Yeah.
that, like, because you can get so much in with like just a one go. You
Yeah.
can like mix banana, spinach, all your vitamins in one go. So yeah, that's great. Man, I can't give you an answer because I love fruit. I love fruit. I eat so much fruit, like because I like it.
Yeah.
That's weird.
hear
You know,
it.
strawberries.
No, the only I like blueberries with yogurt. I can't.
It's nice.
I can't eat like raw like fruit by itself.
Grapes.
I can, but only for nutritionist reasons. Yeah, I don't know why. I just and it's so hard because I needed to eat more fruit.
Anna says you have a baby taste.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's basically it. And Anna loves fruit so much.
Sweating.
Yes.
What the fuck? No, it's really gonna cool down, but
No, open the other.
it's maybe. Are you alcoholic? Because I worked out, so maybe like no, I worked out and my temperature is high. Open this to the coolest.
Let's stay here. Let's move on. No.
No.
Yeah, people can see us.
No, it's not. It's on here with a win actually.
Yeah, I can't eat fruit, and Anna loves fruit very much. So she tries different kinds of fruit, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I eat like I think it was jackfruit, and I literally like my Anna's mother gave it one piece to me, and I was almost vomited. It was so rude because it's so nice. I was like, no.
I used to be like that with melons. I used to.
Okay,
hate
melons is the only fruit I
What really?
Yeah,
I used to actually.
so
like,
sweet.
I used to think that it was glue, like taste of glue or something like that. But then I started like liking it lately. What about watermelons?
Yeah, okay, yeah. But you see, it's just baby fruit.
Let's stick to that. I don't know. Stick to that.
Yeah.
Someone asked something earlier. No banana. Spinach is weird for Brazilian. Almost died trying this here. So what's weird? Having bananas or?
No, this mix like banana and spinach.
Yeah. Okay. It's weird always, but
movie.
I think like spinach in smoothies is brilliant because the taste completely disappears. Like if you put like I put frozen berries, banana, scoop of protein, seed, almond milk, and spinach, and peanut butter. The spinach, like I can taste everything except the spinach, and it's very healthy. Spinach is really healthy for you. So, other things you miss from home. Yes, I miss a lot of things from home. I miss not doing chores. I miss not washing my dishes and washing my clothes and cleaning the floor and vacuuming. I miss
See?
partially responsible for that. Spinach and salad is great. Drop the banana. Maybe.
Yeah.
Brazilians are special. No, I'm joking. Banana pizza. In Sweden,
No,
that's a
but
big thing. Banana and spinach. Banana pizza.
Yeah. No, but spinach in a pizza is also nice.
Yeah, it can be nice actually. So yeah, I miss a lot of those things. I go to Luxembourg quite often. Like Christmas, Easter, summer, and then like once or twice in between that. So 5 times a year I go home. So I get it. But Luxembourg is a beautiful place.
Yeah, it is. It's
So it's so beautiful. I used to not appreciate it, but it's so beautiful. Now that I'm older and I like trees or something. I don't know. Like, Christmas tree. Yeah, like I miss like the views of Luxembourg and my friends. That's like I miss my friends in Luxembourg every time so much, and so I'm so happy to see them.
Yeah, and how do you deal with friendship, like being distant? Because a lot of people, and I include myself in this, think of friendship as some sort of trade. You have to give in order to receive. Or no, do you think friendship is more about the connection? Doesn't really.
I'm very blessed with my friends in Luxembourg because like other previous years above and below my year were kind of disconnected or they made clicks and like the dynamics changed through the years. I feel like my class has been a family since day one and it still is. Like we're so close, except like a couple of people that were never like they were always a bit less connected to the class. We're always like a family. So even when I don't see them for like I don't know 8 months and go and see them, we're gonna like it's gonna be so nice, so lovely. And I stay a lot in touch with them on Discord. We have a group chat and we have like a study server or something and we just jump in like on a daily basis and we talk. So I think the fact that first I go to Luxembourg often enough to see them, and secondly we just have this understanding that we're always gonna be cool. And that if we just lose, connection for whatever reason, no one's gonna get offended. Because like I used to have like my best friend with Luxembourg, and we spent like 2 years like seeing each other, having an amazing time. And after some point, I never talked to him again. I still haven't, but it's okay. I'm not angry at him. He's not like it's not weird because friendships just like sometimes fade away, and that's okay. But so we have this understanding with our friends. I think we don't talk about, but I think we do. Like
And what about here in Ireland?
Well, in Ireland, I find like you guys, I'm so blessed. Like honestly, I'm so happy that I found you because yes, it's so nice, man. Like you guys are so nice, and like I don't feel lonely at all. And yes, we might stay lifelong friends, or we might never talk again. But both are okay because as long as we're here, we're enjoying each other's company so much that we're making each other's.
It's a nice moment, right?
It is. Even though it's the pandemic, I feel so nice being like in accommodation with you guys. And yeah, so that's I don't feel lonely, I guess, like here right now.
What things you always wanted to do in Ireland?
Hi Bianca.
Come here.
Are you gonna work out? It's okay. Reception.
Yeah, reception. Yeah, Bianca.
Oh, Hussein, I wasn't talking about you. I'm joking. I'm joking.
One thing you always wanted to do in Ireland but didn't get the chance.
Travel more, but I've been here for years. I've done it so much, but.
Have you traveled the whole country?
No, I've been to like a few. I've been to like the main cities: Galway, Cork, Dublin, obviously, and around.
Galway, girl. Irish people hate this song.
Do they?
Yeah, because
it was played in the clubs like 2 years ago, like non-stop. Yeah. I'm joking, I say. But Galway is beautiful, man. You should go. And Cork, God, they're so nice. Like those cities are so nice. But yeah, I want to travel more like in between. Because they're all like actually Galway's like here, Cork, and Dublin, and in between like there's so many places, ruins and stuff that I want to see that I haven't. Yeah.
Have you visited the cliffs of Moher?
No, I haven't been to Cliffs of Moher. I was in Glenville recently, which was insane. I didn't realize that natural park was so big.
Yeah.
It was crazy. The hike was so hard. It was good though.
Yeah, we went to Hove, and because in our city we live in a planned city. Brasilia was planned, so we basically can only travel around with cars because there aren't many places for you to walk. So when I got here, I'm dying because we had to walk around.
Really?
Yeah, and when we went to Hove, we walked.
I spilled drink. Sorry.
No, that's nice.
Yeah.
We walked for 3 hours. What?
Yeah, I mean, Hove is an easy hike to be honest.
No.
It is okay. There's multiple paths you can take. Yeah. There's a really hard one, which is.
I took the shortest one.
Yeah. I mean, I guess in Luxembourg you walk a lot,
Yeah.
Like you walk a lot, so I guess I was used to that. And I love hiking actually; it's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah.
So that's why another reason I love Ireland. There's a lot of places to hike. Greystones and Howth are examples of like near Dublin, Bray.
Take me to Luxembourg.
Yes,
I'll live
come
there
on.
legally.
Would be legal or illegal for you to visit?
I don't know because our visa is strange. I don't know if with the Irish residence thing I'm able to stay there for long.
Yeah. Of course, if you come, we'll host you. Like I've hosted friends from Ireland before.
Oh,
My parents are very open to like having people over, so that'd be nice.
And do you drink in your parents' house?
Drink, yeah. Well,
Get
yeah.
crazy.
No, like my dad doesn't like alcohol, but like he knows I drink and I go out. And I've had warm-ups in my house, pretty big ones, but he's always like giving me looks if I drink a little bit more. I don't think he knows how much I've drank in my life. Like I don't think he realizes, but of course he knows I'm a student and I drink. You know, like, he's not delusional.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, and by the way, let's go into this topic. We, Alexis and I, and other people in this accommodation are watching Attack on Titan, and Rafaela, the girl that was talking earlier, she also watched it.
Oh, okay.
And Attack on Titan brings a lot of interesting topics to the table.
For sure. Yeah.
And I don't know if this will be a spoiler. If it will, maybe you should stop. Like, just mute a little bit of this live stream.
I should see that, Rafaela.
I think so, because she was very advanced in the story.
Okay.
So maybe, yeah. What do you think Attack on Titan can add to our understanding of life?
Yeah, I think what I got from Attack on Titan mainly, yes, it's like the thing I loved so much. No spoilers. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna say it.
Yeah, Bianca is watching.
Yeah, no worries. Like it's that in the beginning there's a very clear like good and bad in Attack on Titan. It's like the humans that are fighting Titans, they're evil because they're killing them for no purpose. You know, it's very like clear who's the bad guy and who's the good guy. And as the story develops, you start realizing that there's in that like universe, good and bad is completely subjective.
Yeah.
And everybody's just trying to save the world. And of course, some people will murder in cold blood, and that's you can never say that's good necessarily. But in war, there's like this contract between soldiers that they will have to kill each other, and that's I think both parties accept that. And so it deconstructs this idea of good or bad, and it kind of the white and black becomes very gray. And I think that's very good, like to keep in mind because you can look at different perspectives of opinions. People are too quick to jump and say this is good, a bad opinion or a good opinion, and you kind of have to understand where they're coming from, and also understand that most people will not intentionally have bad intentions.
Yeah.
There's very few people I think that you ask them that they were like, I want a harm society, you know, I want to be bad for society. Not many people would psychopaths say that, you know, like most people think they're doing the right thing. So I think Attack on Titan teaches that very well, and also it's just epic. It's so good. It's a masterpiece. I can't like it's.
Yeah, for me, it's even better than some literature works.
It could be, yeah. Homer.
Yeah, and I was talking to because veganism comes a lot on this podcast because I always talk to a friend of ours, which is also Brazilian, and he is vegan and he's a very, let's say, extreme vegan because he thinks that veganism is almost like saving like human lives, you know. For them, it's like when you don't see animals as lives, you're almost like it's almost like if you're killing people.
That's why it's so hard to discuss with vegans because for them it would be the same as if I'm killing people in the street.
Yeah.
So it's hard to, but like that's why it's so hard. Like you can't have a discussion about whether murder is good or bad because no one thinks murder is good or bad, but people who eat meat will argue that killing animals is not direct murder, and people who are vegan will say it is murder. So that's why it's a really hard topic to like discuss. Actually, what Rafael said, veganismo. Oh, it's a bingo.
Yeah.
What's the next topics?
Yeah, because there is an influencer in Brazil called Felipe Neto. You see.
Oh yeah.
And he always like talks about different topics that he doesn't know really much about it. So the last thing that he talked about was about literature because he hates that in Brazil. Because in Brazil we have to study the different kind of literature movements, the Brazilian literature movements. So we have modernism, like romanticism, all of those movements. And he said, no, we should study Harry Potter instead of like studying, boring texts according to him.
Not boring, like.
Yeah, because according to him, like reading, because usually we study those topics when we are teenagers or children. So for him, studying those kind of texts is boring because why would you introduce a kid or a teenager to literature?
For kids, he means.
And even to teenagers, like he talked more about like people from like 15 years old, 16.
Oh, yeah. I mean, in my school we read fiction until like 13. We only started more serious stuff like later after 15.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like
So,
I mean,
like Percy Jackson.
well, not English, but Greek stuff. Yeah,
Oh.
like, but things that are like literature, like real literature, but it's also for like it's more child friendly. Like there was this one called The Black Cat, and it was like could be a translation actually, but it's like a story about a cat or black cats who live in like society and they live in the streets and they're surviving and it's like exciting and fun, but obviously there's like a undertone like social, like commentary. So okay, I don't know if when you read it, if it's like really boring, yeah, but I thought you meant like everyone should not read like read Harry Potter.
Yeah, because for him, like I don't know, because he thinks that literature should be fun, but the discussion is that the other subjects are not supposed to be fun, like chemistry, physics, math. Why would you want to like not study the things that we are supposed to study in literature to understand our culture, Brazilian culture, and Brazilian history, and study Harry Potter? Why? Why would you choose to? Just because it's fun? Because you can read in your home.
Yeah, exactly. But also, science can be fun though.
Yeah,
like
it's the way you teach.
Yeah, exactly. You should like teach it better. Oh, nice.
I don't want to bother you.
Don't.
Yes.
Bianca's in the chat at the same time.
Yeah. Hi guys.
Yeah.
It's delayed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have something to eat.
Okay. The worst is that we should study foreign stuff instead of our own culture. Yeah.
I don't know if I agree on that, actually, to be honest. I think it's important to do both. Why wouldn't you learn about Plato?
Yeah.
Like, his opinions, his ideas were insanely progressive. Like, why wouldn't I learn about Descartes? Like, I don't have a problem about that. But, of course, yes. Yeah, I think you should do both, to be honest. But
yeah, this happens. Do you think this also happens in Europe? Because usually humanities are very. Is it devalued? The right word? Devalued.
like underappreciated.
Yeah, underappreciated. Yeah. Do you think this happens? Because we think that this guy Felipe Neto talked about this because usually humanities is thought of very subjective, so it doesn't matter that we don't have a method or science behind it.
Yeah, I don't know if it happens. Okay, saying Europe is very broad because like the education system in Greece is so insanely different than in Sweden or Luxembourg. So I don't know. But in my school, in the European school system, there was a very good mixture of languages and literature. They were separate, but also like because you get to do a lot of languages, you also get to study a lot of like literature from those languages. So, I mean, I guess it depends on the school or the country, the system. Greece is a really bad system. So yeah, they don't teach languages at all. Very, very poorly. The English teachers, like a lot of them don't care, but even those who care, their level is just too poor. Like their English is broken, and I could probably teach better English. This is not to boast. Like I've seen teachers, English teachers, and their level is like, unless you do like private lessons with like organizations, that's the only way to learn like a language really. in school in the public system, there's no way you will learn languages good.
Oh,
Yeah, at all. Like, yeah.
that's so interesting because in Brazil it's the same thing, and we thought that Europe in general was perfect in that sense.
No, you can't say that because like what you can't compare like Serbia to or Albania to Luxembourg and Germany.
Yeah.
Completely different, like completely, and the values, the European values are not like European wide.
Yeah.
There's like okay, we do have some EU values, especially like France, Germany, Luxembourg, some of the northern countries. There's strong sense of European Union, but not in like the Eastern Bloc, for example. Even Greece, yeah, like to a certain extent, but not like too much.
And
And I'm saying I do agree we should have studied both, but I guess he was proposing that we should replace. Oh, yeah, no, obviously that's obviously what he said is like
yeah.
I don't agree. I don't think you should study Harry Potter in school instead
Yeah.
of Brazilian stuff because
Yeah.
as you said, you can do it at home.
Yeah. And what do you think, by the way, about the European Union? Polemic topic. Do you like it?
Like as an idea, I support it. In execution, it can be poor, but I've benefited so much from the EU that I can't say that it's a bad thing. I can travel freely between borders. Like I don't even think about borders. I go from Luxembourg to Germany, and I forget in which country I am. I pay European fees in university, which is so much cheaper than international, and you know that I feel bad for international people, but so I can't sit here and enjoy the benefits and say like, oh, it's bad because it's not. But it's dangerous. It's like a fine line between imposing EU regulations that will undermine the culture of a country. So you have to be careful with maintaining both EU kind of identity and national identity because both are important, I think.
Yeah.
So, and I think politicians are in general like incompetent. So I think like certain EU politicians are very competent, but as an idea, I support it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even Elliot mocks Joe a lot about France paying Spain for like the siesta thing.
Yeah.
And is it true? Like, do European countries pay more for the EU than others?
What do you mean?
Like than other countries, for example, like I don't know, if that's Spain is not doing great economically. Do like for example France pay more in a certain year?
Oh, yeah. There's a European budget, and it's not equal proportionate. It's proportionate to like your gross domestic product, yeah, your GDP, but also to like they have the European Union. That's another problem with the EU. I think it's quite decentralized, as in maybe it needs to be, but there's so many steps to even like one regulation that things can get very complicated and lost in technicalities. But anyways, yeah, the budget can be adjusted because they're trying to equalize the distribution of the EU budget everywhere. So obviously, countries that can offer more, it's like taxes, right? The more you make, the more you have to you're taxed.
Okay.
So it makes sense from an EU perspective, but like of course some people will be like they want the wealth to be maintained in their own countries more.
Brexit.
Yeah, and I think Brexit like I think I would, okay. Let's say if I was British, I wouldn't vote for Brexit, but I think people associate Brexit with this like retarded like ideology. But there's a lot of successful countries that refuse to get in the EU, like Switzerland.
Oh,
No, and like people don't really understand that a lot of countries that don't associate with the EU actually do better than like when they're not. And some of the arguments were very valid for Brexit. In general, though, I think like yeah, it wasn't like it was more of a reaction to like a bad situation. So I wouldn't vote for Brexit if I was English, but people should not like assume that it's a backwards opinion or like immediately think it's like stupid or something like that.
yeah. That's why I think Attack on Titan should be mandatory because it really shows it really shows the difference, you know.
Yeah.
That everyone is trying to do the best for their.
Exactly. Of course, the British people
Yeah.
care about their family. Like they're not trying to destroy their families.
And they don't necessarily hate, for example, immigrants because of that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Even though there is this problem,
But people associate like an ideology with like just, I think not everyone who votes for Brexit is a racist. Like I don't think that's the case. For me to say that is unfair because I haven't met everyone who's voted for Brexit. So Can I put my phone to charge?
Okay.
Let's see the percentage. 1%. That's
Yeah,
good.
I'm so hungry too.
Eat.
Give me some. Yes.
You want it? I can make one.
Okay.
You want some too, Alexis?
No.
Guacamole. At home from here.
Sorry, pizza.
Yeah. You order pizza?
No, regulated. I was supposed to order food today,
Ooh.
but
You have a fixed day for.
well, like, not every day, but like no, but like I know what I'm gonna do during the week, so I know when I'm gonna order. So, because I do want to order once a week.
Tá pegando fogo, bicho! Chama o bombeiro lá!
Is that possible?
What was that?
Like
Your
the
sound.
cameras-
This is a sound alert that we put, and people can spend. You see here, those are peer points.
Oh,
So you can spend them and send like messages. Like for example, we have one message which costs like 1,000 peer points, which is drink water. So we need to drink water. And Rafaela just sent a random.
does it do
alert.
anything?
No,
What does it mean?
he's just like a Brazilian host, TV show like host who is very funny, and he's a meme in Brazil. So it's just a meme.
Do you know about this Brazilian weather forecast girl? People danger was obsessed with her. Do you know about her?
Do you know Bianca?
Was it my uncle?
I don't-
Black?
No, she was white, she was Brazilian, and like she was considered the hottest like weather forecast person ever. In fact, I think she was dating Ninja or something like that. She was dating like a really famous gamer.
Oh, is she Brazilian?
Yeah. Yeah, and they broke up, but she wanted to stay and do forecasting. She wanted to play games. Yeah.
And by the way, what is your relationship with games? I heard that you used to
Yeah,
be addicted. Even.
Yeah, I mean, I never lost an exam to go play League. Yeah, but yeah, I have a gaming PC at home, and like when I'm there, I just game all day. Like, basically, like not all day. I work out as well, and
You
see my
work out
friends.
there and play games.
Yes, I do, not at the same time, but I love video games because it fits my personality so well. I'm quite hyper as a person, and I love like getting immersed into something. It kind of like I feel like I'm focused on something, so all my like hyperactivity here can like be focused on a world. So Assassin's Creed stuff like that, like I love playing that kind of stuff. Just late at night, getting immersed and like but even competitive games like League of Legends.
Do you prefer them more like story? Or it depends on the.
Depends,
Yeah.
It's like there's more like once you finish a story game, it's done. Whereas like ranked games or video games that have ranks, you can like climb up. It's more competitive.
Yeah.
Towerfall. Yes, I
Yes,
love
let's
Towerfall.
play
It's so
later.
good. Yeah,
Yes.
it's so good, man.
Yeah.
Towerfall's good. Yeah, and that's the social aspect. Playing with friends is so much fun.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, and I really like games. Like because usually I try to apply to translation jobs from like great gaming companies. So I just applied to Activision to try to be their translator.
That would be really nice.
Yeah, and I always put in my like statement letter, you know, I always put like video games taught me English, and it really did.
Yeah.
I learned a lot of English and even Japanese.
Really?
Yeah, because like in Brazil, like PlayStation 1 and even before like that, like Nintendo, that old Nintendo console, we didn't have the translations to Portuguese.
Oh.
So we got the Japanese sometimes games.
Wow. I mean, I learned English too that way, like through games and shows, but also French. That was the thing. I learned French because in Luxembourg a lot of things are in French, and also games, but also TV shows like that. So yeah, it's cool. You learn Japanese.
How is video game in French?
Jeux vidéo.
Jeux vidéo.
Yeah, I hope that's right. Elliot.
Elliot.
Yeah.
Is Elliot there?
I don't know. He said he would be, but knowing him, should I text him? Oh, yeah,
Let's call him and he will
Yeah.
participate.
Then he better join us. Elliot Cork.
Hark.
My lecture's from Cork. He has such a strong accent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Elliot, are you joining the stream? Simp. Okay.
From here.
Okay. So is she staying over tonight? Is she staying tonight? Okay. 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 Oh, what time? Oh, sorry. I thought you said. I don't know. We don't have a time. We'll just keep chatting until
I'm too hungry.
Yeah. Okay. If you're hungry later, we can order something to say. I'll buy for him. I'll buy for you. Anyways, don't. Okay. Bye. Sorry for the.
No, it's okay. That's the point.
Yeah.
We're just chilling.
Yeah.
Let me see, by the way, how many people are watching. I don't know if we're speaking. Oh no, I can't see it.
You can't see it?
I can't see it. No, I have to go to the 11 people.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to ask you about your poetry. Because I was so impressed when you said you have 70,000 followers. How long have you been doing that?
Yeah, well, I started like 5 years ago with 2 other friends, and we used to write different kind of poetry. Like I usually write more, let's say, philosophical stuff, and so it was not very successful, because usually people want more romantic things. Yeah. So, but I have one friend, and she wrote like beautifully about romantic stuff. So we got very successful from that. And so we actually released a book about the Brazilian Carnival. I don't know if you know it's almost like the French Carnival.
Oh, is that what it means?
Yeah, Carnival is like a sort of translation of Carnival. But our carnival is very unique in a sense. It's like St. Patrick's Day. We have like 1 week of partying, and like rituals and everything is so nice.
Oh.
And so, yeah, we wrote a book of short stories for children, and we released in a carnival event.
Was it successful?
Yes, because it was an event that people were drinking, so we just gave the book, and people were like, "Oh, we don't know you, but thank you for the book."
You raised money out of it?
Yeah, we won some money.
A lot?
Not a lot, but it was okay. It was one fee for the book. We didn't, because the book was for free in the event. And yeah, but then
Sorry. Yes, Burger King later, probably. To be honest. Oh, poor quality of standards. Is that
Elliot?
Yeah.
Probably Elliot. Yeah.
Really, I think Pigmer. That's his name or something. Pigmer.
Why the hate?
For me? I
No,
said, from Elliot. Yeah, yeah. I said yes for Burger King, by the way. I said probably cheese bites.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah.
My stomach's gonna be like, no.
You're so hungry. I can't listen to Alexis' sweet voice. Really?
Oh. Who's bastardo vegano?
I don't know. Do you hate us? Oh, okay, I think it's the other host. We have 2 hosts. And
Oh.
yeah.
C'est pas que c'est un...
No.
Wait, it's not your other host.
Can you do?
ASMR. Is it your other host? Where's the microphone?
It's the laptop. I don't know where it is.
Hello, guys.
This is the ASMR on Alexis.
Go to the gym.
Eat healthy. Go to the gym. Sleep well. Don't do drugs.
It's a good message, huh?
We do it.
So gross.
I'm sorry, guys. We don't have the equipment here.
I thought you had a microphone.
I tested it, but it was not good for like. It's only good for if you're close enough. So we'll be like with the microphone doing this all the time.
Do you not want to have it like? Can you put it here? Is it not?
That's a good idea.
Yeah, whatever.
No, but now it's like a little too late. Don't do drugs.
Man, who is he? But sorry, is he you?
Gabriel, it's the other guy who presents the podcast usually.
Nice.
Yeah.
Too
And
late. Does he
this is
partake?
our first favorite, so this is good.
Edward.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking
Yeah.
late.
But it's too late, why not?
Does Gabrielle partake in narcotic substances? She says it's too late for that, so
Yeah, he drinks alcohol.
okay. And he smokes
No,
cigarettes.
no.
Okay.
I didn't smoke before either, so.
Here?
No, in Brazil.
Yeah.
So your guy is just destroying
Yeah.
my life. I'm kidding.
You mean corruption.
Corruption. Heroes destroys us.
I am Icarus.
I'll be a nationalist now.
The EU budget. Brazil pays.
Oh yeah. And what? Let's go deep now. That's what she said.
Before it says poderia podemos. Legalizei já.
Yeah, she's saying you can't use it, but
You can't use what? Oh,
yeah.
hashtag legalized. Do you not talk about certain stuff here?
What?
Like drugs and stuff?
Like in the podcast, you
Yeah.
can talk about it. Yeah.
But not like promote it, of course, or,
No, yeah.
or about personal use, but like discuss the topic of.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
What do you think? Okay, let's go for it. Do you think we should legalize it?
I think I like Portugal's system where they
Yeah,
have decriminalized every drug, and that way they can get public funding that goes towards like rehab centers and taking care of addicts instead of the money going to prison for drug users.
Yeah.
Of course, it's like detrimental to society to sell drugs illegally and like use certain drugs. But I think I think certain drugs are harmless, like caffeine, which is so widely accepted,
Yeah.
and then alcohol, which is so promoted, has a lot of problems with it. You know, like I drink, but also like people die so much like every year from like car crashes and cancer and stuff like that. So I don't understand why like certain other drugs, for example marijuana, which no one has ever died from like an overdose of weed, but it's still so like there's a big stigma around it. So yeah, I think I like Portugal's approach to drugs. Yeah.
Yeah, and don't you think it's weird because you have you started reading *Sapiens* from
No,
Harvard?
I haven't. I will actually. I wasn't done with the website.
Yeah, we are actually doing a reading sprint. You know, I don't know if you know what's this. We usually go live and you read with people. So we say, oh, we're reading *Sapiens*, and then people just read with you because we put a little song
That's nice.
and a timer.
Are you gonna do Sapiens? Or you're done?
Yeah, Rafael is doing *Sapiens* now.
Oh.
It's very good.
She's already started.
Yes,
Okay, look, it's
but I
fucking.
can't join.
Did you know the worst drug in the world, Alexis?
Yeah, what, like, for in your opinion, what's...
Love. Oh, Raphael's lips. I haven't tried that. I think I will stay away from that. I'm not sure though. It's too much. He's first, by the way. He has a king.
Yeah. Yeah, we laugh like that in Portuguese.
Really?
And my American friend was so curious because the KKK.
Oh.
We also laugh with only K's, but also with the
Yeah.
KAKN.
Karakatsanis.
And I sent to my American friend like KKK.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and I was talking because Harari talks about the evolution of humanity and stuff. But I find it so weird that weed is a plant.
Yeah.
When did we just like thought, oh, we should ban this?
Yeah.
It's a plant, like it's like that plant over there. Like why?
Yeah, I think like certain cultures use weed more, so like it's common amongst people who like criminals maybe. Like I don't know, in like poorer areas, people will use weed a lot.
Oh,
So I think it's associated with that and that kind of behavior,
oh yeah.
and like maybe laziness or something. I don't know. I'm just guessing here, but yeah, I think it's because it's associated with like certain socioeconomic like backgrounds. And I smoke my red roses every day. Nice. That's good for you.
And Rafaela is saying that when she went to Colombia, she used a lot of stuff made with Coke.
Well, yeah, they give you cocoa plants and you can chew them. Like
Yeah?
very cheap. You can buy it off the store, like cocoa leaves, and you chew them, and it gives you like a bit of a buzz. Yeah. Okay, cocaine is technically. I mean, it's not. It's processed, but it's really bad for you. It's still a plant, like originally, so it's heroin.
Yeah, he's Bulbasaur just yeah, because they're like making jokes like call Rafaela's mother for her to see the chat.
Is she very against?
Yeah, I mean, I think every parent is a little bit.
I know some parents who smoke weed.
Yeah?
Yeah, my friends' parents, they once every couple of months they smoke weed with their
I hope
kids.
I
as
am
well.
that parent.
I hope my kids are cool enough, and unless I see that they're not doing well in some areas, I'll be glad if I'll be okay with them smoking weed. I think as long as they know how to. Why sorry, Alexis? Oh, it's a bad Brazilian joke. It's okay.
And by the way, about what do you need, Bianca?
I just want bread. Can I have one?
Yes. The bagels, I
Yeah, the
found.
bagels. Yeah. Did you
Ah.
get turkey
Oh,
bacon?
if you want,
I didn't.
No, that's cool. They're only Tesco. Oh, it's cute.
I can.
I recall.
Well, just the drops, the bits of liquid here.
And what were we talking about?
Weed with like parents and
Oh yeah, of course. Bianca, show yourself, Lisa.
is Lisa like in Germany? Lisa?
Yeah?
Yeah. Show yourself.
I'm eating.
Yeah, she's cooking.
I'm cooking for us.
We were talking about kids the other day, do you remember? In the gym.
Talking about kids?
Having kids.
Oh yes, okay. Yeah.
It was so funny because you were trying to work out and I stopped you there for like 3 hours. I don't know.
Oh, I mean, I was probably into the conversation. She's
Yeah.
doing drugs.
She's cooking. Weed. Breaking Bad.
It's a great show.
Yeah.
Okay. He's funny.
Escalating quickly.
Sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, yeah, because I talk with Anna a lot about having kids because we are so afraid of the world, because of climate change and everything. And you had a different opinion, right? You said that you think having kids is actually the solution because if you create a good kid, he or she will change the way.
Yeah, like if you think that climate change is a problem and you feel like you're gonna be a good parent in like teaching your kid how to fight that, whereas people now don't fight that, that's you technically in a large scale. If you replace all the people who don't fight that with people who do fight that, that's gonna be the solution, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I see it. Like I feel like my views in the world. Obviously, we all have views that we think are the best for the world. The only way to pass them on is first talking about them, but no one's gonna listen to you as much as your kid will. Maybe not in the beginning, but I think we do pick up a lot from our parents in the later on.
Yeah.
When are you and Anna getting married? That's something to ask.
Okay, we plan to get married. We want to get married tomorrow, if we could.
Tomorrow?
Yes.
From today?
Yes. But we don't have the money, so we want to have want to have the celebration and everything. So yeah, it is so expensive. I don't know if it's expensive here too, but in Brazil it's like insanely.
Or like the actual legal work or like the everything, yeah?
Yeah.
It's probably expensive here as well, yeah.
Yeah, let me like a normal celebration would be like 50,000 reais, which if we convert is almost like 10,000 euro.
Wow.
Very expensive.
Wow. Yeah, well that makes sense. It does make sense for like someone who has like been saving for like a decade and they've been working.
Yeah.
Now they can afford it probably quite
Yeah.
comfortably. Like if you're like in your 30s, because a lot of people get married around that age,
Yeah, because it would also be useful for us because she's taking the Erasmus and she'll be in Wolverhampton the end of the year. So with my Irish residence thing, I can't go to England and stay there.
Oh.
So it would be nice for us to get married because then I think I could be there.
Yeah. Can I ask you why you want to get married? Is that personal or
No, it's okay. It's because I don't know. I always wanted to get married. And
like what is marriage? By the way, I want to get married in the future as well. But what is marriage like with you? Like, what is it? Just like a legal bonding, or do you think it's something more to it? Like,
no, I think I see it as something more symbolic. Like you really, I think it's the ultimate way of showing appreciation to your partner. I think you're really showing that you want to stick with her like forever.
do you think marriage has lost its like sense? Like the divorce rates in America are like over 50%, if I'm not mistaken. Like people don't take it seriously.
I think so, yeah, because mainly because of the religion, right? We are becoming more and more less religious people. But at the same time, I don't know. I don't know if you know what's the name. Zygmunt Bauman. Do you know him? He's Do you know the nationality of Bauman?
He's Polish, I believe.
Yeah, he's a
He
Polish.
was Polish because he died.
Yeah, some years ago.
Okay.
He was a Polish philosopher, and he has a book called Liquid Relationship, something like that. And he analyzed the way we face friendships, uh, loving relationships, and things like that. And he used to say that nowadays we like our relationships are almost like Tinder, you know, we just swipe people out of our lives,
That's true.
and maybe that's why marriages are not working because when we get tired of the person, instead of fighting and like not fighting, like instead of like trying to make it work, we just give up.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That's why I asked you about the friendship stuff. But I think it's maybe the same way with friendship.
But I feel like love is different because like
Yeah.
you'll fight more for love than you would for friendship. I think. Like you can grow more. I don't know. Maybe you can grow more from like your partner than like
Yeah,
your
of course.
partner.
You'll be leaving 24 hours.
Here in Brazil, it's very expensive to get married. That's why we do something called gravidez na adolescência.
Getting pregnant when you're in your teenage.
Oi, novinha. And we moving together. It's funny.
Say that again.
Oi, novinha.
Yeah, oi novinha is the way we say. I don't know. Say something a way to call a girl, a slang to call a girl. Hey.
Like chica.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Or as the Europeans say, bird.
Yeah, that's a very English thing. I've never heard before outside like Ireland or England. Bird. It sounds so vulgar. A bird. I don't like it.
Hey, magpie.
Like not in the sense like it's degrading, but more like it's I don't know. It's not a pretty word.
It's patronizing.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, bird. Like what does it mean?
Yeah.
Fit bird. Novinha means I love you. Does it?
No. He's just making a joke.
Oh.
Yeah, because when when you call someone novinha, you're practically saying that.
Como uma professora sanidade, she said, já tenho a roupa que vou usar no casamento.
She already has the outfit for my wedding. She already bought it.
Does she actually have a trauma?
What?
I hope she's being honest. Like, she's saying the truth.
No, I think so, yeah.
Oh. Are we invited?
Of course.
Really?
Everyone here in this accommodation. Even...
Oh.
Of course, imagine me. Hi, Mom.
Corporate.
Corporate, yeah.
No, Emmett.
No kidding, Emmett. Maybe he's watching this. The flash. Yes.
Sorry, so you can say, AI tá um pouco crime. You want me to get it for life?
Papo crime is literally.
You're down to like get dirty.
Oh. Romance in Brazil.
Yeah, very vulgar.
Sorry, Black has to where you get married.
Oh,
When I have the budget.
no, where?
Oh,
Like,
probably in Brazil because I can't. We can't take our whole family
Yeah.
to travel here.
It's so cheap.
Yes, Alexis, you and Taylor are gonna take us
In that white houses, you know.
Yes.
Yes.
But you know, Greece is a very cheap country in general. I mean, I don't know compared to other EU countries. But I would try.
Even to like Spain, because Spain I know it's very cheap.
Wait, isn't Anna from Spain?
No, she's not. She's from Brazil, but she's in Spain for
Oh.
days of Erasmus.
Luke says, I think Bianca should have been there.
Yeah,
Oh,
Who's Luke?
I'm eating.
Luke is the Gabriel.
Who's Bulbasaur?
It's because in order for us to get more views,
Oh, yeah, so
He-
yeah.
he has like 4 accounts.
That's good.
Oh god.
You should do a mukbang. Do you know those things? Is that what they're called?
What?
It's you sit in front of a camera and eat like a lot of food, like a lot of juicy food and stuff. I personally find it kind of gross, but like a lot of people.
ASMR.
Theo was asking, would you plan on settling down in Brazil after marrying?
I don't know. Because I talked to Bianca a lot about this and also to Ana. We really miss Brazil in a sense, mainly the weather, because, And, but at the same time, Brazil is in a tough situation because of the economic crisis and everything, and our president is not the best in the world. And, so Anna is like, she's more radical than me. She hates, like, because she takes politics very personally. I mean, I understand her because, we see a lot of absurd things happening, so it affects you in a way. I learned to not be affected by that, mainly because I talk to a lot of people who talk differently than me.
Genocide.
Yeah. They're
Brazil. Is that what they're
genocide. Yeah, because he. But answering the question, no, I don't plan to go back to Brazil now, but maybe in the future. Because also I'm, is it a lonely child, you say, when we don't have brothers? Only child. Lonely. Only fans. And so I have to take care of my parents afterwards, so I'll probably have to get back to Brazil.
Would you ever put your parents in a elderly home?
Maybe. If I knew it was okay. What do you think about that? Would you put your...
If they're like cognitively okay, then no. Because like it's in Greece, it's only. No, I'm not from Greece, but I know that in Greece, it's like a lot of elderly live like in towns and they're fine. But if they couldn't take care of themselves, actually no, I'd rather hire a caretaker, even if it's expensive.
Oh yeah, of course.
I would much rather do that because I feel like even though it could be for the best to put them in a nice, like we have in Luxembourg in the center, this massive, it's like a castle, like a huge palace that's like an elderly home, and they have a garden and everything and stuff like that. And like I can bike there from my home with this in this elevator. But anyways, I guess that could be nice, but also like I feel like a lot of people treat the elderly. We treat them like children often, and because I get it because they kind of like physically they do become like that, but like you need to remember that these people were as sharp and active as you, and they raised you, and like you shouldn't just like throw them in because you don't want to take care of them.
Yeah.
Maybe they're too tired to express their distaste, but they cognitive this like in their mind, but they might hate it or whatever.
Or would you leave with them? Because it's actually very common in Brazil for you to leave with your. For example, if my grandparents were sick and then they would start living with my parents.
Yeah, only if they didn't have like a long way to go. I would live with them.
Yeah.
Like, but not like if they were like sick and like on the way out, I would probably want to be with them. If I had a choice.
Yeah.
If I have family that like I don't know for whatever reason I have to stay in the town.
Yeah. And they're just talking about soccer. They're Flamengo and Paysandu are Brazilian soccer teams.
Do you watch soccer?
I used to watch a lot, but I got very violent, aggressive rival.
Really?
Yeah, because that's why I made competitive games in a way, and not only video games but also those kind of sports. Because I get very competitive and I can't control it, so it's better. It's almost like Hussein.
I mean, well,
Do you remember Hussein when he lost?
you didn't see me. I was playing Sekiro. You know the guy that I beat him by the way.
Ooh.
But there was one guy this close, and I died. and there was a chair there, and I hit it, and then I kicked it, and I threw it on the wall. And like Elliot took a bit of it, or Jose took a bit of it. Because he thought I was going to kill him. And I got so I started beating it and throwing it over. And I felt horrible.
Brincadeira, meu!
That situation.
Yeah,
Brincadeira.
this is another meme from. Oh, thank you.
You want to eat now?
Yes, please.
But seriously, Alexis, look at me. Nobody's doing soccer teams. No.
Do you know players?
Ronaldinho. Neymar.
Oh, do you like Neymar?
From what I've seen, he's good. I'm not into football.
We hate him.
You hate him? Why?
Yeah, because first of all, he used to fall a lot. Like when he was running, like the guy just touched him.
Yeah, it's football, yeah.
Yeah, because he's very skinny, so.
But he's skilled, no? Like he's football or what?
Yeah, nowadays he's much better. He's playing for Elliot, Paris Saint-Germain.
Okay. Oh, PSG,
Yeah. And oh, thank you very much. She always
Just like dip it, like.
feeds me.
Oh.
Yeah.
You want some?
I wouldn't mind trying, but I don't want like a proper like.
Oh, you can eat.
No. Eat like literally like just to taste it. Like
Yeah, I
I
love
taste it.
lemon because I love lemon.
Lemon's great.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, and so okay, I was talking about why they called him genocide, the president.
Oh right. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Anna takes it very seriously.
Wait, what this guy?
Yeah, they said don't ignore, but I don't know. She said she has a very important question, but I didn't even see it.
Paysandu. Okay, he said that Palmeiras, which is another Brazilian soccer team, is the best team in Brazil. Okay. What's the question?
Rafael,
Oh yeah, this is the question. He asked, what kind of soccer teams do you know in Brazil? Yeah, but you answered already.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Ana gets frustrated with Brazilian politics. That's why we don't want to come back now, exactly, at least until he gets out of the power, which is next year. We'll be voting next year.
Yeah, do you think someone better is going to go with this? Do you not think if the system is corrupted, like...
No, of course, Brazil is a very corrupt country. Like, we have a ranking, and Brazil is like in the top 10 things, I think.
Who's top 101?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, probably, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, maybe, because...
Or even like North Korea.
We don't know.
Yeah, but exactly.
We can't.
That's the point, though. They're so corrupted that they don't even share information with, like...
I'm even holding the bread. If you could.
Funky kid, it's better than Bolsonaro. Funky. You come here. You drunk.
Go to Brazil.
Show us some proper like politics.
No, it's because you see, Bolsonaro is almost like Trump.
Okay.
And he talks a lot of bullshit. And even like the vaccine, when the vaccine was out, he said that the Chinese vaccine would give us.
Hands or something?
Yeah, he would become an alligator.
But I think he might be worse than Trump because in terms of Trump, like publicly he's a clown, but in terms of corruption, I think the American politicians are way more held responsible. So if you say they're top 10, of this? Thank you. Oh, it smells so nice. Mmm.
It's very good.
Very good, yeah. Healthy fat. And yeah, so, and also, what? They're talking about the space cake.
Okay, she says because we're eating this. 3,000 deaths per day. What's the proportion to your population, though?
Okay, we have 200 million people. But we are, proportionally, we are the highest, like, top one country that way.
Number one.
Yeah, proportionally.
Yeah.
Yeah. In something, at least. Yeah. So, like, I think it was 500,000 deaths in total
Where do
yesterday.
you think the concentration of deaths is? In like the Favela or like do you think that?
The poorest areas for sure.
Yeah, and we hate Bolsonaro because
Because he didn't respond to the pandemic like in the beginning, that's the thing.
yeah, he did nothing. You know,
That's why
it's almost like
it's
Sweden.
genocide.
But Sweden is doing fine now.
You think so?
Better than a lot of places. Fine, like relatively to whatever fine is in this
But I
situation.
think the Swedish society respects a lot.
That's it. It's remember when we're talking about culture. It's different. Like maybe some countries can afford not to respond as strongly as some can't, because imagine a country where everyone's completely sensible. There's no such thing, but and you didn't put any restrictions, and everyone just stayed at home because of their own like sense. Then it's like also in that country you don't need to impose restrictions, you know. And some places are like that more than others, I think.
Yeah, and we also have a very famous biologist. I told you about him. Virologist, you know, he studies infections and everything. And he said in the beginning of the pandemic that if we didn't do any kind of restrictions, 1 million people would die like in, I don't know, 3 months.
In Brazil.
Yeah, and he was just taking this statistics thing. Like he was calculating, like if the virus spreads in this rate, in like some certain amount of time, 1 million people will die. And then that's why he convinced a lot of like governors to, because we have a certain kind of independency of the states. So Bolsonaro can't be that powerful. But yeah, that's why we hate him so much, because a lot of people die unnecessarily. And because, see, I don't remember which country did that. Okay, China, for example, or even Australia, New Zealand. Even compared to Ireland right now, I think it's the best way for me, in my opinion, is to like you put a strict lockdown, a very strict one for 2 weeks, and this is enough, you know.
But what do you think will happen with the virus after those 2 weeks?
Of course, we will come
Severe
back.
of the week.
No, of course we will come back, and even this biologist he said that it would be normal for us to be in a very strict lockdown and then normal-ish life, and then another strict lockdown until we get the vaccine.
So in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what they're doing in Europe in most places.
Yeah, but that's why I hate Ireland in that sense, because we are in a lockdown for months and it's not effective.
Yeah, because the thing is like, I think I read this doctor was saying like we have to accept that the majority of people who leave home will get it at some point, but the point is to like chop it up in like portions. So like have a lockdown, then let people go out, and some will get it, then lockdown, and then some people will get it again. But like the effect will be way less magnified because like you know people will get it in instances instead of like everyone getting it at the same time. And she said that way the elderly can also be protected. And then people who will go out every like try like a lockdown every alternating month or something like that. So people think that that's also a good approach to it. So the virus mutation, the thing is like I don't know enough to talk about this, but I think a lot of people talk about it without knowing enough as well. So like people get very passionate about this topic. It's kind of weird how people get so like emotionally attached to the situation, and I get it because it's literally like in this situation we all want to get out, but people have different approaches. Some people think opening everything is the only way to get out, and some people think staying at home for like another 5 months is the only way to get out. So how do you argue with these two? How do they argue when both of them want the result to be so we can be free again? It's really hard. The COVID-19 in Brazil is still more young people. Yeah.
Is it? Because I don't know. Statistically, I don't know.
From what the CDC, which is America, this is not true, but maybe in Brazil it's children. That can't be right. I mean,
no, I think it's killing more because of the mutation.
More people. I mean, maybe
more than before, at least.
But before, children were like 0 point, like extremely low. Like I'm talking about children, like under 20. There was like a few cases per country, like max. But maybe there's a variation now that does that, I guess. Yes, Alexis. I didn't know that. I have no idea.
I don't know.
It's.
We were talking to. Oh yeah, you told me to explain to you what was the last guest. How do you say that? Information.
Yeah.
He studies
In UTI.
UCI in English. Right?
I see you.
ICU.
Oh, UTI is urinary tract infection in English. Okay, ICU, right. Okay. Yeah, the guy.
Okay, so he studies literature, but he focuses on like books that like portray the pandemic.
I see you too.
This guy. Sorry, literature, yeah.
Sorry, literature.
No, you studies literature?
And then he compares like he studies how pandemics affected the writing. So he studies, for example, Albert Camus, the plague, and even more ancient texts, even from ancient Greece. And I asked him this like, is lockdown the best way to go? And he said, well, at least historically that this always happened. This was the standard procedure. Like we know this for a long time. So the way the political thing that is around it, I don't know, but we need to do something regarding this. We need to stop people from circulating. That's a fact, at least according to
Do you think in the beginning, the best thing to do? So in the beginning, the first strike, there was a very obvious statistical difference between people above the age of 65 and below. Like a huge difference, almost 0% to a big percentage. Do you think in the beginning it would have been the safest or the wisest to restrict people who are high risk and let everyone else be more free, so that the people who are at risk stay safe and the people who are not at risk, and if you get it, there's milder results. I'm talking about the first variation of the virus, which was the case. No, you just can't go back now.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you think the restrictions should have been less universal? Like, do you think me as a student could have gone to the cafe and worked with my laptop there, and like someone who's like 80 shouldn't be allowed to?
That was a discussion.
Because for me, that's my opinion. That's what I think in the beginning should have done.
Yeah, this biologist also, he said that this wouldn't work, at least in Brazil, because a lot of those people, the young people, live with their parents and with their grandparents.
Yeah, but if masks and gel works and social distance works, then how would they bring it back home? Either it works and we don't bring it back home to our parents, or it doesn't work. So why would we do it? You understand what I mean?
Because if you go to the cafe, there's a risk that you get a virus, even if you're out with a mask and everything.
How much of a risk?
Yeah, there's a percentage there.
Do you know it? Like,
no.
Me neither. I don't know it either. My point at the end of the day is is that percentage risk worth restricting movement, restricting life, or is it I don't know. I don't have the answer. I'm just asking.
Yeah, for me, as I said, the best option would be to have a very strict lockdown for like small period of time. Even like when Anna is in Malaga in Spain, so she said that they put like even the army in the streets to stop people from going out, and they even go to your house and knock and see if you're there.
Do you think that's different than fascism?
Yeah, that's a discussion.
Because that's literally you using the army to enforce law, which is one of the definitions of fascism. And if you can argue it's for the greater good of society, but also by definition that's fascism, and maybe you could say that you agree with that, but would you need to say also that you agree that fascist measures are useful from time to time?
Yeah, I don't know.
It is because it is weird because it's weird to accept that maybe that would be the best, but at the same time you're literally using the army, and then it goes further but then opinions can be subjective, and if you're using the army to push your subjective opinion, because not everyone would agree that staying at home, not necessarily me, but not everyone would agree that staying at home, so it could cause a lot of tension to do that.
Yeah,
it's a complicated topic for sure.
Yeah, I think I mentioned to you that in Brazil we had a vaccine issue. A revolta da vacina.
Vaccine revolt? A historical thing?
I don't remember the disease. Huh?
Was it in Venus?
No, the whole country. No, it was from, I think, 2 centuries ago.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, so we had a disease that was spreading a lot,
Was
and
it polio?
maybe. And then there was a guy, a famous doctor in Brazil, who said, we need to get the vaccine, otherwise people will die. And then people didn't want to get the vaccine. And so the army went to their houses and literally just did that. And it stopped the disease. So, yeah, so yeah, it's
it's like you're accepting that you have to do that.
yeah, it's very hard.
Yeah.
Attack on Titan again.
Yeah.
This is,
They're saying, asking, do you eat couscous?
yeah, we eat a lot of couscous.
I love couscous. It's like the grain, right?
Yeah, I don't have the habit of eating it, but
Tapioca. It's fish.
Ooh, I have an interesting question for like with the discussion that we were having. Like, cause governments are like trying to enforce on people. I'm not trying to pass judgment on that, if it's good or bad or whatever. But like governments are saying that, people who don't get vaccinated cannot enter certain countries, because of whatever. So like, what do you guys think about that? Like, should people, like, should we have like a certain, like card or like stamp or a passport or whatever saying, oh, I got vaccinated, so I can like,
In my opinion, as long as you have the antibodies for the latest like strain, which means you can't get the virus and give it to people, there's no reason you should also have. So I think like antibodies are more important than vaccine by itself. So either or, probably. Like if I've gone through like my parents, my dad and my brother went through the virus, then they got tested. They have the antibodies now, so technically they would be fine going outside, right? But as you said, they may not be allowed to certain places.
Like, how would you prove, like, to like immigration or whatever,
Yeah.
you have the antibodies or
Well,
whatever?
there's the antibody tests. You know how we have to do like COVID tests to go anyways, but that's like whether you have COVID. But maybe we should make mandatory like antibody tests.
But it already exists in the US.
for example.
Yeah.
You have to get the vaccine for yellow fever.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. And even going to like in certain places like Africa, you have to get vaccines. Like yeah. So
Mandatory.
I think people forget that you can also develop antibodies naturally, but that is hard, the variation. But must be amazing having a test vaccine like that.
So frustrating. Yeah, what the fuck? Bolsonaro bought like 100 million tests, but our Ministry of Health was so incompetent that he let the tests
Yeah, we changed the head of like the Ministry of Health like I don't
4
know
or
how
5
many
times.
times. Like how can you,
That's so inefficient. Like
And he let the tests
just sit in like a warehouse and
perder a validade.
Yeah, they just sat there in a warehouse and they got bad,
Yeah, out of date.
But do you think it's reasonable for people to question whether the vaccine is safe or not at this point? Do you personally think it's reasonable?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I mean, you can question like what is a vaccine. You can try to understand what it is, but like some people say, oh, you become an alligator, or the Chinese vaccine has a chip.
Obviously, that's like
No, but even like they say there's a famous argument about vaccines making you children get autism.
which is it hasn't been proven really.
Yeah.
But there has been negative effects to vaccine. Always, always. There's always
Every
negative.
medicine.
Yeah, every medicine there's like a group of people that will suffer. But some people argue that having had COVID because some people die from the vaccine, would have been resulted in less negative outcomes for those people than getting the vaccine. But you can't know that really. Like always things are gonna go wrong. Not some people. Fucking president instead of a live broadcast.
What is not some people?
Like I think we said, some people said about the vaccine getting growing like a tail or whatever.
It's because it's gotten so political, I think. Like in the past, I don't think vaccines
Yeah.
was that
No.
politicized.
And vaccines were a revolution for medicine, right?
And there was always this thing about autism. Like there was always anti-vax, but they were not like taken seriously.
It's so
There was always some doctors that were arguing against like stricter like creation of vaccines because they were trying to make vaccines a very easy thing to process. But like some doctors would say that it needs like before you even put them in the market, you need like 5 or 10 years of testing because there's always like long-term effects. But that was like the only discussions around vaccine. But now it's like yeah. He's saying, have I ever tried pastel with caldican?
We do.
We have to take him there.
We'll take it to the Brazilian market.
Really? There's one here? Oh, the one in the corner.
No, there's like a huge, like every time we go to the city center to go to a Brazilian market, we enter like a different one.
Yeah.
I've only been to one. I've been to one and I asked for payol. And they said no, but you can get. They told me there's like Facebook pages where people come from Brazil. And, yeah.
He knows payol, guys.
I love payol.
He loves payol.
I love looking at it.
And yes, we have a very Brazilian meal. It's called pastel. Do we have something similar in the?
It's like a fried pastry situation, and you can like fill it with whatever you want, like sweet stuff or salty. People usually eat it with like minced meat inside, like shredded meat, or cheese, or tomato, like anything. You can put
It
whatever.
reminds me of one of the best things I've had is in Italy. I think it's called panzerotte, and it's you know calzone. It's fried calzone, but like smaller. It's like deep fried calzone, and it's insane. It's like so tasty. We have a little picanha in Luxembourg. Ooh, yeah, picanha is so good. I love it. Yeah. And they also have like hearts, actually. Sorry, man. But yeah. Say it in Português there. Quando acabar.
When the quarantine is over, 10 years from now, we need to gather people in our city, Brasilia, and eat a little pastel. And also caldo de cana. We don't write it like that, right? Caldo de cana. It's caldo de cana, which is
Okay.
Like you put it through like this machine.
Theo says the autism myth was debunked ever since the article that suggests the myth was completely disregarded in China, and the autism myth What? Yeah, that's true actually. Thanks, Theo. Theo, since when do you have a Twitch account? What? I don't even know. Yeah, go for Theo. Yes.
Imagine if she's like a gamer.
Man, she plays games. I'm gonna expose her. She plays games. She plays horse. It's just like horse breeding simulation. It's quite complex. Like there's a lot of things to do. But they also have like fantasy horses and stuff, like rare horses you can buy and sell and stuff. Yeah, it's like Sims for horses. It's
Life
really good.
simulator, but with horses.
Yes, literally. Horse simulator.
Well, it's like there's a farm simulator. Do you think it is?
It's all like you don't control anyone. It's all like text.
Just take care of. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but there's pictures of the horses, but you don't control anyone. You know what I mean? It's like that kind of game. But it's pretty good actually.
Yeah.
Oh, I downloaded for Switch. Rachel's not gonna be happy that I talked about horse.
I downloaded for this stream. Oh, nice. Thanks, Dave.
But this is another thing, Jose. If you're listening, he's obsessed with the vaccine. He's like, I really want to get the vaccine. Like, he's always he's so obsessed, and for me that doesn't make sense. Like, I wouldn't be that fast to like be so passionate. Like, he knows all the stats. Oh, they bought like this much and it cost this much, and I can't wait to get it. He's like celebrating getting the vaccine, and it's like, I don't know. I wouldn't be celebrating getting it. Like, I would say that maybe something is he has reason. Who? I'm saying, is it that fast?
Is asking how the vaccination is coming along here, like.
Pretty bad, I think, in Ireland.
Really fucking slow.
Really slow.
In Ireland?
Yeah.
I know nothing about it. Is it slow or not?
It's very slow. Even in Brazil, it's fast.
They're giving it like healthcare people, right? Tarek did it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, Jose has a
Yeah. Of course he does.
Yeah.
Of course he has. I'm not saying he doesn't, but I think I'm saying obviously I wouldn't be as quickly to celebrate.
Oh, maybe he doesn't have the delay because of he's close to us from here.
I'm saying not obsession.
But Ronaldo doesn't take
You're
steroids.
obsessed. Yeah, fair enough. Well, no, you're going to get the chance because you know.
Yeah.
You're obsessed, Jose. You're obsessed.
Except with Ronaldo, Messi, and
You just like to do drugs. That's what I'm getting at.
Oh no.
No, I'm kidding. Jose, you're great.
Vaccines not even once. I'm up to date with my vaccinations. Because you have I don't know how it works in Brazil. You have a vaccine passport and you have to fill in, I guess, tetanus and stuff. Not tetanus, the metal infection. What's that? Like a rusty metal.
Oh my god, completely escaped.
Tetanus.
Yeah,
Is it?
tetanus.
Yeah, it is tetanus. Yeah. Jose is obsessed with Burger King.
Sometimes, but I think it makes sense to be happy with the vaccine. For example, both my grandmothers got 2 doses of the vaccine.
Yeah, it's 2 doses that you get.
Yeah, and I was so happy. I didn't cry.
In that case, for sure.
To get to live
For sure.
people.
But okay, how would you react? How do you think someone should react which has happened, if their grandparents get the vaccine and they die from it? Would you accept that that's something that happens from time to time, or would you think you would be radicalized against it?
I don't know. Yeah,
it's hard to be in that situation, of course, but yeah. But no, I agree with you what you're saying, of course.
With my rationality right now, I would be okay.
Yeah.
I would be very sad, but I would try to be rational. But at the same time, I don't know. But if this happens, I don't know how.
If gift soft, it's good dust. Sedermole e ballo.
It's just translating expressions.
What does that mean? But that doesn't really make grammatical sense.
No, it's like.
If gift soft.
It's also a meme in Brazil to translate our memes into English, making no sense.
We do this every in Greek and it makes 0 sense.
Yeah, we even have an Instagram called the Rainbow Dictionary.
Vape. Do you like vapes? Today it's paid. The whole jet to Pago. Finishing your favorite daily access to live a healthy lifestyle. You do this. I do that. Today it's paid. I want to capture my next post like that. Open your eyes. Okay, that's Carla Days returning from the fake big wall like a sphinx.
Oh no, this is a Big Brother thing, reference.
Oh, right.
Okay, and we also have one for Bolsonaro. Because bolso in Portuguese is pocket. And pocket narrow.
Oh, Bolsonaro, pocket narrow. Wow, that's a big
Yeah. What's that? Dumb.
What's this?
Insensitive.
Like what I did.
It's live.
Which one is this?
iPhone.
Which? It's an iPhone.
No.
11, I think.
Samsung.
It's you from me. Yeah.
How much is it sell? How much does it cost?
Okay, if you have Amazon Prime, it's for free, but I think it's a couple of dollars. You have different kinds of subs. You have premium, you have king, and everything, all kinds of levels. The more you pay, the more prestigious you are. So those first and the crown over there is because he's a sub. You earn those little icons. 25 reais, which is nothing euros.
Yeah, it's 5 euros.
Yeah.
No, less.
Okay, real, our currency, is now almost 7 euros.
7 to 9.
So yeah, but yeah. So if you work in Europe and you make euros, you can make a lot of money in Brazil. Yeah. 50 cents, it says.
50 cents.
Is it?
50 cents.
I used to listen to this as a kid, it's so cool.
Yeah.
Did you watch the movie?
He took some bullets, right?
Yeah, 7, I think. Yeah.
50 bullets.
Yeah, maybe. Why do you say kiki though?
I don't know. Yeah, just happened. I think maybe it's because someone did a typo. They tried to write ha ha ha, and then the K is near to the H, and
but
maybe
it's just ha 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 is 2. You have to press 2 letters.
Yeah, but maybe because the
K is just 1. How can you mistake?
Maybe
no, but it started like this. Okay, yeah. So people were but then someone did a typo like this.
There's a deeper.
No, I'm a scientist.
I think it's a phonetic thing. I think it sounds like a. The K is near the forehead, it's the worst explanation.
I'm a linguist. I'm
Okay, it would make more sense that the J is near the K, and like that's how you would write it in Portuguese, no? Like ha 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 with a J.
yeah.
So that's
Okay, yeah.
makes more sense. But it's usually a phonetic thing. Like in Greece, it's like this because the Greek letter that looks like an X is a ha 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 ha.
Ooh,
Yeah, and in Spanish it's ja 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 ja.
Yeah.
Like that. So
Yeah, but KKK doesn't make any sense.
no, if you laugh, it's like. You are a linguistic.
I don't even understand anymore. So drunk.
Chose a letter and go.
Yeah.
You're not drinking. I mean, I'm not forcing you. Would you take guacamole like this? Like, with that. Use your lingua. Your word, your tongue. Yeah.
It's so strong.
You listen to her. No strength. Can I need to go to the bathroom?
You can do it.
Okay.
Okay, replace you
Yes.
for 2 minutes. Oh, why did
Which one did you?
You can use mine if you want. B.
You have anything else?
This first one as well.
You opened it.
Yeah, you.
Tá pegando fogo, bicho! Chama o bombeiro lá!
Fala galera, agora. This one, yeah, on the right.
Yeah, the first one.
You opened it. Yeah.
Por que a gente tava falando em inglês? Ele falou like,
Okay, Hossein and Elliot and maybe Lisa will change a little bit to Portuguese.
oh,
like-
okay, no, we're
You
gonna
do have television.
Is it the...
I can take some. Go Bianca.
Hey
Take
guys,
the show.
I'm gonna host. So,
What do you study, Bianca?
oh yeah, I also go to Trinity, with like Rafa does, but my master's is in sociology, so race, ethnicity, and conflict, or raça, etnia e conflito in Portuguese. So why do we use KKK when you laugh? Like no one...
Are you researching?
Yeah, I am.
Maybe you should research that, like in the university. I'll talk to.
You should do that.
It's translation, I think. I could do that.
Of course. How do people laugh?
What does fechado mean?
Mm.
It's because Mikey and I will translate a book together for a Brazilian writer. PeraCast.
Yeah.
And this writer is talking Portuguese.
Oh, okay, you see, like the expression translates like a sequence of letters, like K, that end up producing, right? Onomatopoeia, I don't know how to say that in English.
The same onomatopoeia, I don't know, it's the same writing, but I
Oh,
don't know the
okay.
pronunciation.
Onomatopoeia, yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't make
As
the
if
sound.
like, yeah, because like ha 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 makes more sense to be an onomatopoeia because it's like ha, like when we laugh, it's like.
And even in Turma da Mônica, you know, I haven't seen like the kkkk, KKK.
Okay.
And I don't know if you were here, I was telling Alexis that once I left like KKK, only 3 Ks to Mikey, and he was like, what the fuck, racist? Yeah, and I was explaining to him. Okay, it's when you, how do you say engasga?
Choke.
When you choke.
Of so much laughter. Even then, I don't know.
Saldanha, you should study that. You
Yes.
should research that.
Or linguists. Chalk. Oh, careful. You're like 1 letter away from like.
I think he wanted to say chalk.
BSDM. Oh.
I heard that. Okay.
Oh, cause okay.
Yeah. What do you think?
Oh, okay. About what? BDSM?
No. What are you going to say?
I don't know. What do you think about all BDSM? No.
What is your opinion about the government thing? You asked us and you didn't give your opinion.
The government what about like asking people to prove they got vaccinated? I mean, because I think I agree with that because we have been doing that for so long. Like in the case of the US, if you want to travel, not just the US, I'm pretty sure like other global north or like developed countries also require like for you to get vaccinated before you enter the country. So I don't think it's that much of like a a long shot or too much to ask,
Yeah.
But like Alexis said, we live in like a different society like context now. Like everything is so politicized. So maybe it would make sense for us to like adopt, for example, the antibody test instead of a vaccine. A vaccination like receipt or whatever. For those people who have concerns about getting the vaccine or who cannot get vaccinated for health reasons, that also happens.
Yeah.
So.
But a problem that comes with that is also it gets more expensive for people to travel, right?
No. Alexis is back, guys.
Yeah.
Your host.
We're talking the same topic.
Yeah, because.
Boring. No, in fact, actually, I do find the COVID thing. Okay, what do you think about BDSM? Like, it's like we've talked so much about COVID this past few years, and like the past year, I'm so tired of it. I hate like talking about it nowadays.
Yeah, let's talk about
BDSM.
What is that?
Bondage.
Oh, okay.
I think.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is BDSM valid
exercise? Yeah.
Sex is.
And there's a famous singer, and he's also a weightlifter in Brazil, Luxembourg.
Oh,
Like a weightlifter, like a bodybuilder, or
oh, bodybuilder,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the meaning of each letter.
And he said that he hates cardio and he's against cardio, and he said, my cardio is doing sex, and that's it. Yes, so really.
I mean, I better do cardio.
I better do sex.
No, cardio. Yeah. Wait for marriage.
Bari, yes, Calvi.
Bari.
It's like a BDSM thing where like you have this rope that is meant to be used for tying people up. It's not like any type of rope. And then like it's really like intricate designs. People like tie each other in like very like aesthetic. It's not just for like fucking, it's for like having sex, but yeah. It's like more of an aesthetic thing as well.
Crazy.
People can say that it's not like inherently sexual.
Fuck it. You can say it.
Oh, there's John. He's not in the chat.
Texting.
No, can we call him?
Yeah, call John. The audio is gonna be terrible.
I feel like he would go. He would.
The most.
Him and Luke would be friends.
Yeah. It's the most random podcast of all time, I think.
This is bad.
No, I like it.
Am I being a professional?
No.
John, you wanna join the podcast?
You're alive, John.
Join the podcast. Rafa and I are doing a live stream. It's in the group chat? No.
Yeah, you can go to the group chat or
go to Twitch and search.
I'll give the name to you.
He texts you the name.
I do not have Twitch.
We don't even. Okay, it's a website. You can watch without commenting. If you don't have an account, you can't comment. But
You're famous or something, Alexis?
no, it's Rafa's podcast.
But why are you in his podcast?
Because he brings people to talk.
But why you?
Why not? Why not me? Why not me?
Because you're an asshole.
Oh, maybe that's why he wanted me in his podcast. It's a podcast for assholes.
And there's a funny guy. There's a funny guy in the chat box. He reminded us of you.
Okay, Rafa sent me the link.
Okay, see you in a bit.
Who is Bubasar again?
Gabriel. Why is that the photo of me?
Do you know that? Do you know that?
Yeah, I saw them.
Oh, okay. Oh, the many accounts. Sorry.
Okay, guys. I sent an email.
Perfect. Can't wait for John to
Join to join.
shoot about questions. Are you excited for next Attack on Titan?
Yes.
Is something crazy gonna happen? Since you know the manga.
Trying to remember what happened in the anime because I keep confusing.
So in the anime, Armin and Ermin fought, and it was Ziki's backstory, and Levi exploded at the end of the carriage.
Oh yeah. I don't think. I think it'll be more story now.
Okay. I mean, it has been for a while.
Yeah,
But
but
that's-
I don't remember if something great will happen.
Pretty
In
cool.
the last episode, I think will be insane.
Yeah, last episode of like
The part one.
this is the last episode.
Is it?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
So I don't think they'll be able to end in the scene that I was thinking about. They would end in an incredible scene.
Are they not going to include that?
But I don't think so because a lot of things happened before that.
What's an insane scene?
Just this. I'll just give you this image.
I know what that is. Apple. You know what that reminds me? Ymir touching the source of life to get the founding titan. Because there's a drawing of her with a girl with an apple like this, and she's like touching it.
You get it. It's very good.
Okay.
People, you should watch Attack on Titan.
You should
Seriously.
all watch Attack on Titan.
For me, it's so good because it also helps us to understand, as we are talking, society in general.
Yeah.
It really helped me to like get more nuance and like don't judge people early for their opinions.
Same.
True.
I like talking to people who like think very differently of me.
Yeah.
I like it, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I think that's what we need in our society nowadays, is like to get conversation going instead of like halting it by like, I don't agree with you, so
Yeah.
go fuck yourself, I'm not gonna talk to you.
You know, in the Gaza we had to write essays. I wrote exactly about that. I wrote that I wrote that the only way, so one of the topics was AI, so I talked about that. The second topic was whether the individual needs are greater than societal needs and vice versa. And I talked that it's not a versus thing. I said that a happy individual will contribute to society, and then the society will contribute to the individuals. And I said to achieve that, we need more like discussions. We need to like not cancel the conversation, because nowadays I feel like people who disagree just don't discuss, and we need more like middle ground to talk.
Yeah.
And that's, even Aristotle was always saying that like the best society will come from the synthesis of like opinion A and opinion B clashing, and then you get the thesis C, and that's how the more strong logical conclusion. So yeah. Because if you don't need middle ground to talk, then only the extremes will be loud. Because like if you don't have a discussion, John,
Finally.
Yeah. And I was going to say something.
Yeah, because that's how you change like the world, you know what I mean? Like, since you guys were talking like earlier about like changing, you know, like having kids like you know is a good thing in some aspects.
Yeah.
Like, you can raise them to
Tá pegando fogo, bicho! Chama o bombeiro lá!
change
Yes.
happening nowadays, like you know. So yeah, I think we should definitely keep the conversation going, like
Yeah.
not being extremists, you know, on either side of.
Yeah, and it's even hard. I don't know about your course, Bianca.
Same here.
I don't know. Do you to Alexis and to Bianca?
Bianca, he does versions here, I think.
Yeah. And in your course, do you talk? Do you have different opinions, or do you think like your course mates think similarly about stuff?
I mean, I think because we are in a sociology course, like masters, inherently, like we think alike in most like
Topics.
most topics, you know what I mean? But of course, you have like different, you know, opinions like all the time, and we talk it through, you know what I mean? Like it's really interesting, and like having professors that don't like necessarily push their opinions or their beliefs onto their students, you know what I mean? They actually let
That's so
us
important.
express
Yeah.
ourselves and like, you know, whatever we think about, even if it's outrageous or like polemic. Or
How can I do it to talk with people in the interview?
You can just
type?
type in the chat what you want to say, what you want to comment. Or saying, how are you, my furry friend?
He's sorry. That's funny.
Yeah, and I think I told you that I used to talk to a guy who liked the dictatorship in Brazil.
Yeah, sorry. You can stand behind dictatorships. Any kind of dictatorship.
Alex.
Yes, I don't own an Alexa, but my Google always turns on.
Hey Google.
No, I think it only responds to my voice.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Good.
You can train. You can do that. Yeah. Okay, Google. Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
But sometimes I say something random, like I don't know, something that might sound like it, and it turns on. What did you hear?
Yeah, I was in the gym yesterday, and I tried to change the music with the Siri, which is the voice thing, with my like earbuds, and I just said play some music, like I said the name of the artist, and the phone fucking called a guy that I don't speak for like 5 years, and I was like, and the phone just froze, and I couldn't.
Did he answer?
No, gladly no, but I think.
Why are you gay?
Who is gay?
Who is gay?
For me, this is the best meme.
It's so good.
Yeah.
What is gay? It's so funny because the guy, like the interviewer, really just doesn't understand. Like he's really just like lost. He's like, "Why are you gay?" He's like, he doesn't get it.
Okay, just to give you a little context, I think he was like a priest or something.
Was he not an interviewer?
I think he was a priest.
Oh.
No, I think there are two different memes with like this narrative of like who's gay. Yeah, one of them is an interviewer of a broadcast and like he's interviewing like a scholar or whatever.
Ooh, okay.
The topics of like sexuality or whatever, and the other meme is this preacher like, oh, who's gay? Who wants to be gay?
Oh, yeah, I know that too. Yeah,
Anal sex.
yeah, anal sex. It's like a classroom or something. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, and now like in the US, they also have this other preacher who like loves to talk about semen.
Oh.
Because like he believes that semen is a new type of milk, and that Starbucks puts semen in people's coffee.
I wish.
Because it tastes good. And the way he said it's like semen or whatever.
Alexis, are you still wearing women's clothes? No, John. I got
Why are you wearing clothes?
I was wearing Theodora's like coat for like a while. Do you remember?
Yeah. I use another jacket as well.
It says 3 a.m. in Brazil right now. Holy shit.
No, he was asking like that's why you called me.
Oh, is that a singer or an artist?
Yeah,
singer. Oh, great. Okay.
Making sure I'm not fried. What?
I'm not gay, he meant. I'm total flex.
Ah, okay.
What's total flex? Pansexual.
Yeah, you go like either way.
Like the cars, flex cars. You can take.
Yeah. Oh, well, no, I thought flex cars like the cars you can rent. You know, that's just
is that a different expression?
No, because like in Brazil, it's really common for you, like when you go buy a car or something in a car dealership, they ask you like, what kind of car do you want? Do you want a flex car, which means you can put ethanol or gasoline? Well, fuel it with either.
Yeah. Or just
Rafa is single. Do you have friends?
Both.
Yes, Joe. I'm just interested.
Yes.
Yes.
It's the latest question, which is true. Did you have dinner, Rafa?
No.
Now you. I love who Bianca. It's like a human Wikipedia.
Oh, thanks, guys.
I love food.
Luke is simping.
How
Yeah,
we have a simp in the chat.
No, in Brazil it's simp means, I think so.
No, I didn't know before.
Oh, I think I told you what a simp was.
still don't remember properly.
It's like what's the name of that?
Joan is like.
Seems like it's like like female streamers and these guys in the chat who like obsessed with them and like they give away all their money. Like originally that's what a simp was. Now it's like a meme. Like if you express any like feelings towards a female, it's like simp. That's a bit of a meme. But in the beginning it was like these guys are like my love of my life. Like these are female streamers.
You know that female streamer who sold like her bath water.
I'm actually a fan of hers. I don't watch her content really, but she was in a H3 or her personality, she was she's like trolling people, right? And she's embracing the whole thing, and she knows that people are gonna buy it, and she's like doing it.
She's smart.
She's making so much money because people buy
What girl wants to participate in the video?
Oh, that's
What?
I was trying to say things in the group chat, but you
Say hi, John.
What kind of questions are those, Joan?
do you have a fiance, Rafa?
Yes, you know that. Why would you ask that?
Because my roommates
Hey.
didn't know. Oh, actually, you know him. Sí, lo que estaba fuerte.
Salve, that's Latin for hello.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's the same thing in Brazilian. Salve. Yeah, we say like salve.
That's
Oh, I thought maybe
ancient Latin. Salve is hello.
Do you know Latin?
I did it in school. I chose it in school, but I don't
Say
know.
something.
Smart.
Pestis furcifer. It's like an insult.
Yeah, this was
Yeah.
Bastardes Carbodoro.
What does that mean?
carbonara.
No, it's like
Oh yeah.
Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah.
Have you heard of it?
Yeah, I've heard of it,
The book
yeah.
or the
Yeah.
series, Like, there's this
I know.
saying,
Yeah.
like, they're,
Oh.
yeah, anyways, it's like, fuck the bastards or whatever.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fuck the bastards. Fuck the bastards.
I need to get more cool.
Yeah, mine is quite strong as well. But I'm almost
Are you guys
done.
drunk?
No,
I'm tipsy.
You are drunk.
no,
No?
I'm
But I
not
won't-
anymore after the.
I went to the bathroom with it. Salve because everyone's fucked because Bolsonaro's salve is like breathing, but it's also
Call for help.
what?
Yes, salve is also salve can mean hello and also a verb for save.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Makes sense. Makes sense.
yeah, it's like saying, oh, we're saying salve to be saved from the
You know salvia, the drug?
drug.
Yeah, it's like a
It's like a sugar thing, isn't it?
no, it's like a crazy psychedelic.
I thought it was sage for some reason. Because, like, in Portuguese, salvia.
Well, there's actually salvia. Okay, there's some people say like Spanish salvia, French salvia, which is like herbs, but like the drug salvia is insane psychedelic.
Oh.
That like
yeah,
people jump off
like,
videos
slow.
sometimes. Yeah. But it's like really intense. Like,
Yeah, okay, yeah, I forgot about it. It's because we usually have
Oh, yeah.
3 final questions which are the same to every guest, so I'll make it for you.
Okay.
What kind of skill do you think someone should have, or I don't know, enhance practice, get better at?
Is there any specific skill like?
You can say
Or can it be like someone has to be more like a healthy person? Like
it can also be like a trait of personality, like if you
okay.
like you need to listen more to people or be more charismatic.
I think society would benefit a lot if we were all more disciplined and we could say say I'll do this and do it.
Mm.
I think that's the thing a lot of people around me like not like you guys obviously, but like in society I noticed a lot of people yield too easily to things and they cause problems, but then they look for in others for like help, but it could come from like just saying saying and it's easy to say, but I think people should be disciplined a lot. But I don't know, like a physical skill.
Mm.
Like I can't even drive, so I can like
Yeah.
say something like that. Yeah. But yeah, people should be disciplined more. I think.
Maybe the COVID thing would be over, like if everyone was more.
Exactly, could be. Yeah, exactly, could be.
I went back to COVID, sorry. What was a thing that happened in your life that made you be who you are today? Can be a couple of moments.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be a defined.
Hmm.
Yeah, profound question. After a chill chat, we have a philosophy. I don't remember what I answered when
I really don't know. Let me think about it. Like, I can't even think of like several moments. I can't like.
For example, what made you like exercising? What it can be something like that. There was a moment that you lift a weight and you were like, "Ooh, nice."
Yeah. Okay. Well, I started. The thing is, like, I started doing it more because my dad used to tell me to do it, and eventually developed like this love with it. I do have this memory. Okay, I guess this could be an answer. Before I even like went to the gym or anything, I used to spend my time scrolling through Nine Gag. Remember Nine Gag?
Yeah.
And there was this meme about a guy in the store, and he was holding like two Oreos. I was like around 12, 13. And I remember that he was holding them like this, and you could really see his triceps. Like he was built. And in the comments, someone said, "Nice triceps, bro." And I had this very vivid memory because I remember like looking at this guy. I didn't understand muscles, right? I didn't know anything about muscles, right? But I remember that I saw it and it really impressed me. Like I really like went like, whoa, this guy is like, I didn't know what it was, but I was like, this guy, something I like about this picture. And then somebody said, "Nice triceps, bro." And I googled triceps and I saw that it was a muscle, and I was like, damn, she has big. It's nice that it's like that. So maybe I don't directly link it to me liking weightlifting, but it's very vivid in my mind. So maybe that's something.
Ooh, nice.
Like maybe I have like a natural appreciation of the human body, and that was like one of the first moments I noticed that. Like
Nice.
that people can develop the muscles and like look good. Yeah.
And do you have a famous person that you look for inspiration? Dwayne Johnson, for instance.
Ronaldo? No, no, not Dwayne Johnson.
You don't like Dwayne Johnson?
He's cringy. I mean, like he's like. Do I like Dwayne Johnson? He's achieved so much, and he's really a hardworking person. Like he's quite cringy when I see him like on the internet, like the way he speaks and stuff. But yeah, good for him. What he did. I don't dislike him. I just don't have an opinion of anything. A person, no, I never had like. I guess my dad.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, I think my dad is one of my role models, to be honest.
Nice.
Which used to not be the case, but as I grew older, I realized that more. Yeah.
Does he work out as well?
Yeah, he was a scholarship athlete with like hammer throwing.
Oh.
Yeah, and he also values physical activity in society very much. And but now he's a cyclist.
Nice.
Yeah, and I'll give you some more information on that. It's more private, but I'll give it to you after the podcast. No. One thing I wanted to mention about sports that I didn't was I was telling Elliot that Elliot mentioned that we have an instinct to be aggressive and competitive, and people take it out in the streets and in social interactions, people always try to one up you and stuff. And I think sport is an extremely healthy way to express your competitive behavior and get out of your system and have clarity without harming anyone. And I think like even like the Romans understood it. It was like they're gladiators, okay, it was a bit more extreme, but we all have this instinct to be competitive and like kind of dominate. But if you turn that into sports, then it's harmless and actually it's healthy. So I think sport is so important to society. That's another way I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's why I didn't like sports before, like competitive sports. I don't like
But it's healthy, like.
because I get aggressive.
But good, like okay, if you stay within the rules, of course. But like people who do boxing understand they will be punched.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't feel bad about it. Like they're there, and if they don't like it, they should train harder, be healthier, and then beat you. Like that's why I like sports. You can express your like aggressive because we are animals and we have like aggressive behaviors. You can direct it into sports. It's so lovely.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, like this could be controversial, but like okay, it's not controversial at all. Actually, I'm gonna take a different route. I think like through sports, you can like live safer. I know that like if whatever like an earthquake happened and 100-kilo block fell on me, that I would so easily just push it off of me. Or if someone was stuck under a tree or something, I would very easily just lift it off. And I think like sure, when is that ever gonna happen? But I know that I can if it ever happens. Or someone comes to me in the street and like he threatens me without a gun, I can like probably like outstrength him. So I think like sport is also important because of that.
Yeah, sure. And also, I don't know if these questions apply, but usually the last question is, what is the next person you think we should invite to this podcast? Hossein.
Maybe, but okay, maybe not a person, but like someone from the not from the West.
Ooh.
So like someone who's experienced like Asian or Middle Eastern or African even like culture quite deeply, so you can compare. I think that's really
Yeah,
good.
that's actually very nice.
Yeah.
With a totally different, maybe.
Yeah, like a different
point
part of the world, like completely different. Or they would have insight into government that you wouldn't or something. Because even you talking to me about Brazil is quite interesting. But I haven't met Brazilian people, but like it's interesting.
And last but not least, do you have a book or a movie that you think everyone should watch or read?
Maybe not person, I'm trying to say okay, yeah, okay. Attack on Titan, first of all. But 12 Rules of Life by Jordan Peterson, amazing. Probably like Sopranos, the show. It's crazy inside of like how the mafia works. I love it.
And the Greek movie.
Zorba,
Zorba,
and
yeah.
I think everyone should read the ancient Greeks. There's so much like clarity you can gain. There's so much wisdom that you can gain. Like they were so advanced for their age. I'm not saying because I'm Greek, I don't relate to them in a national level because they were so far from different civilization. But freaking the Greeks, man, they knew so many things. They were more advanced. I believe they're more advanced than what we are now.
Oh, really?
And you know why? Because I don't think technology is the determinant of how advanced the civilization is. Because technology will always go upwards. Like, and that's normal. Obviously, when you start, then you can't have like rocket ships. We always build on the technology before us. So obviously, technology will always go higher. So that's not what determines whether civilization is. It's about the way of thinking.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that they were appreciate the critical thinking so much, crazy. And they all have like they invented maths, like because the Arabs also every civilization had like maths, but the way like Pythagoras and other people like thought about life was insane.
Even Aristotle, like he has thoughts in every field.
Yeah, exactly. Even Plato is one of Plato and Aristotle. Like to think that Socrates taught Plato philosophy, and Plato taught Aristotle philosophy, and Aristotle taught Alexander the Great a way of life, and he conquered half of the world by the age of 21. My age, he conquered half the world. What the hell, like, the wisdom these people had was insane. And like, I'm not saying to conquer is wide, but different times, like, and Alexander was quite a smart man, and he never, like, imposed beliefs. He gave always the citizens a choice to be, like, educated with his own beliefs. He was very, like, he killed people, of course, in war, he killed people, but he was very honorable in, like, in sense of how he conquered, and intelligent, strategically, but he died of disease, and then they killed off his offspring and his family. So, yeah, they completely cut the lineage of Alexander because they thought he was a risk to like society because people of the opposite, like other people, wanted to get him out of the system. So his story is very interesting. Do you know the story of the Gordon knot?
No.
So this is like an example of he's very witty. It's a story, but it could be true. There was this like knot that a king made, and it was impossible to solve. It was really tight, really hard, and they were like, if anyone ever comes here and solves it, he can be king of this place. But it was impossible. The man said it's impossible. So Alexander went there. He took his sword out and cut it in half. And then obviously that's like he's solving it, but he's also showing that he's ready to put the sword down and like fight. So they gave him he became king. He's crazy. Anyways, Greeks, read the Greeks. Like you'll feel happier.
Yeah.
You will have meaning in life way more. Like it's really good.
I'll probably do that. I need some meaning.
Yeah, it's good. No, it's good. They can really rationalize meaning, which is something all of us need.
Nice.
Having a rational meaning in life. Anyways.
Yeah, that was a good talk and ending in a very deep and philosophical note. And yeah, thank you, Alexis, for coming to our podcast. We are so grateful. And this was the first episode in English.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. You should do it more often.
Yeah, I hope I was okay.
Rafael can learn some English that way.
Yeah. I hope I was okay. Like my English is not a perfect one.
Oh, perfect. Whatever.
But yeah, thank you. And guys, we'll do a raid. Do you know what a raid is? Maybe not because it's a Twitch thing. We take the people who are watching the stream and to another streamer. So if the person
I
if the
understand.
person continues to watch the video, they will be automatically sent to another streamer. And this is good because we build relationship.
Yeah. I understand what it says here. Rafaela likes to study languages. Isn't that like right, Rafaela? Yeah, haha, love it. I like strange languages.
No foreign
Oh my
language.
gosh, I've been
What?
thirsty for you.
Foreign languages.
No. Wholesome vibes.
Yeah, I get it.
Alexis, is it okay?
I'm taking those. I'm taking those. Luke is thirsty now. We're sipping. Anyways, thank you so much for having me. It was fun.
Yeah.
Because we always just chat anyways, so
Yeah.
it was fun to just,
Share it in the video. Yeah, guys, so thank you very much. Just a reminder that you can support us through the websites that are in the screen. And also, if you have Amazon Prime, you can subscribe to our channel and give us some money.
Please donate.
Yeah, please. This pays for protein. For this expensive rent. But yeah, thank you very much. And just wait a little bit because we're going to do the raid. And that's it. Bye.
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 Bye.